AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge, with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
It's the start of the second round of matches in the AIA Singapore Premier League, and our Saturday night feature is a rematch of one of round one's biggest shocks. The Lion City Sailors have finally found full steam ahead mode, and in Gabriel Quack, they have a player on fire. Yakety yak, it's Gabriel Quack! But they now come into Cheetah territory, the only team to beat them so far. Hougang's title charge hit a buffer last week when they dropped points against the Young Lions. But in Tomoyuki Doi, they have the league's hottest shot, and they'll be ready for the big spending Sailors. Will it be repeat or revenge? It's Hougang United versus Lion City Sailors, and it's live. We're live on Saturday night at the Hougang Stadium, and how good a sight is that? Fans queuing outside the stadium 2 hours ago, looking forward to the first game where fans are allowed inside the Hougang Stadium without having had to have a vaccination or a negative test. A maximum of 250, and the sold-out signs went up 2 hours before kickoff. It's the Cheetahs and the Sailors. Third against second tonight, a real mouth-watering prospect in store for you. Watching at home live on Singtel StarHub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports, as well as our associated partners around the world. It's one of 4 games this weekend. We're here at the Hougang Stadium. Also tonight, simultaneously at Jurong East, the Jags take on the Stags. Tanjung United against Tampines Rovers, fresh from that big 3-2 win against Geylang. And tomorrow at Topayo, Balestier Khalsa, Albrecht de Garta, the defending champs in action, and the Young Lions take on Geylang International. Geylang looking for their first win since the opening day. The league table, well, it's a hot one because at the top of the table you'll see just 4 points separating the top 4, and if the Lion City Sailors win tonight, they will go top, with Albrecht de Garta able to reclaim top spot if they win or get a point tomorrow. Meanwhile, when you talk about Hougang, they themselves can go level at the top of the table with Albrecht, albeit second by goal difference. So welcome into the Hougang Stadium, where for the first time in a long while, Roshan, it feels great to see fans amongst us. Safe distancing, of course, is being carried out to the fullest extent in a safe environment. Fans back in football, it's wonderful.
It's brilliant. It's great to see. And we've been talking about some of the games that we've been watching in the SPL so far and the quality and how we're looking forward to fans coming in and getting actually a closer look at some of the players and how quick the game goes. And, you know, it's such a big game as well. This one with the Lion City Sailors, we've seen them just absolutely destroy sides in the bottom half of the table, haven't picked up a win against some of the other perceived title challengers. So it's time for them to step up here, especially after the embarrassment of that previous result against Hougang.
Very much so. And you've just seen those games tomorrow, by the way. Let's make sure they're all sold out. 250 tickets. If you go and you're not happy, come and find me. I'll give you the $8, $5 concessions back myself. The Singapore Premier League, the AIA Singapore Premier League, is as strong as it has ever been. And we'll prove that tonight. Let's look at Hougang. We'll start with the team that beat the Sailors, the only defeat inflicted on the Sailors so far this season. Any conversation about Hougang has to start with their star signing, Tomoyuki Doi. An incredible 11 goals through the first 7 games. But the breaking team news is he's only fit enough for a place on the bench. That groin injury he picked up in midweek, unfortunately, meaning he can't start, and that's a blow. That
will be a blow for them. And again, you spoke about his 11 goals that he scored so far. I've seen a stat on the SPL's Twitter page in terms of the expected goals. 11 goals from 4.1. XG, and that's an incredible rate of goal scoring. It means his finishing has been absolutely outstanding.
What's the XG?
Well, it's just based on the chance quality that he's had, really. So what it says is his finishing has been fantastic. He's been scoring from difficult opportunities, difficult chances. We've seen him score a few goals from range. Basically, when you look at XG, you look at things like, you know, distance towards goal, position on the pitch, how many defenders you've got in front of you, things like that. I won't bore you with too much of that.
So
he's brilliant. He's the hottest shot. He's been brilliant for them, and he will be a big miss for them in this game. It's unfortunate. 11 goals in 7 games. To put that into context, he got 11 goals in the entire season of 14 last campaign, and he scored in 6 straight. Also, that stat applies to Stipe Plazibat. Now, the reason why Hougang are third in the table is as much to do with Tomoyuki Doi as it is with the defence at the back. A contender for the most improved player of the season is Maxat. He missed the Young Lions game, not through injury, because they didn't want him booked again to miss this match, and that could prove crucial because they looked a bit vulnerable without him against the Young Lions. Yeah, you know, it was a bit of a gamble, I think, from the coaching staff to think that, you know, Young Lions, you know, still struggling towards the bottom of the table, we should be able to do it without Maxat, and they were almost made to pay. It was almost a gamble that didn't quite work out. There's still part 2 of that gamble here to be seen. You know, he comes back into the side and he will add defensive stability for them. The reason why they were worried about him picking up a yellow card, I think that says a lot about the style of player Maxat is. You know, he's a very old school kind of defender. You know, he just goes into challenges. He will hit you hard if he needs to. We saw Young Lions getting a goal here. I think the angles weren't quite covered well enough, but yeah, defensively they were a little bit all over the place in that game, and they're quite fortunate at the end to pick up a point.
I'm already licking my lips at the prospect of Maxat against Stipe Plazibat. That should be a fantastic head-to-head battle. Incidentally, Hougang, every time they've scored first in a game this season, they've gone on to win, and that really tells you that they're going to be a tough nut to crack if they can score first.
Yeah, you know, look, again, the way that they've sort of set themselves up this season has been very impressive. The aggression that they've played at. Aside from that first game against Elbrex, where they lost, I think, 3-1 opening day, 6 games now on an unbeaten run, this Hougang side. And they have the qualities to go and hit you in those counter-attacking situations. But we've also seen them be very aggressive in their pressing setup. And I think they like to play against some of the bigger sides in the league as well.
And they've got the fighting spirit. They were 3-2 down, 2-1 down, 1-0 down against Tanjung Bagara and bagged the point. And they also came back, as you just saw, to get that crucial point last week against the Young Lions. Now let's talk about the team that everyone in Singapore is fascinated with. Congratulations to the Lion City Sailors. They announced their new $10 million integrated facility at Matto. It looks absolutely mind-blowing, fantastic for the future of football in Singapore. But for the here and now, Aurelio Vidmar is charged with getting his team to win the league and go far in the AFC Cup. And on the evidence of the last 2 games, they could be in business. After a somewhat rocky start, they've won their last 2 games. I'm just doing the maths by an aggregate of 12 goals to 1, and you can see some of their goals are just absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, look, again, the movement. I think Lion City Sailors, for me, are one of the best sides to watch in the league when they have possession of the ball. The passing moves have been very good. There's a lot of good rotation in the midfield lines, in the midfield areas, players running from deeper positions. You'll see Stipe at times just dropping off to be that striker, to drag a central defender out of position, and then he'll have runners ahead of him, the likes of Gabriel getting into those spaces in behind opposition defenders. We'll see Saifullah as well, you know, with those late runs into the box, looking to take those opportunities.
I must just say very quickly, Stipe Plazibat was very upset on Twitter. He didn't get enough love for that sprint that led to that goal. So Stipe, I know you're in the dressing room, you're not watching, but there's a bit of love for Stipe. And there's Saifullah with a fantastic goal to wrap up, and he deserved that goal, and that leads us very nicely on to Rai's eye, because Roshan Rai in every feature game picks out a player that you should keep a very close eye on, and Roshan's Rai eye falls on
Saifullah. I think this was a simple one for me to pick. A young player, I think 21 years of age, and someone who is really talented. And, you know, people talk about the under-23 rule. I think if there wasn't even a rule here, he'd be someone who's playing because he deserves his spot. And he's been picking up his goals and his assists in the last few matches. And so he's slowly starting to get a really good run of games. Last season as well, had a good run of games for them, gaining more and more confidence. What I like about him is he's starting to add goals to his tally now. He's already got a couple with these late runs into the box, you know, here being that link-up man in behind the opposition midfield and having that eye, carries the ball, uses the space well, waits for the defender to come out and approach and releases the pass at the right time. So I like that he's adding these little aspects to his game, but also his quality on the ball has been very good. But yes, his defensive work rate has been fantastic as well, because, you know, the modern game, you have to defend as a team, as a unit. And when you're playing in that midfield structure, he's got to make sure he's contributing with the ball and without as well.
And let's remember, of course, he's one of those young players, some really impressive young guns making their mark in the AIA Singapore Premier League this season. Now, let's just give a balanced argument here, because the Lion City Sailors' downfall, if they could sort the defence out, they would be, you know, miles clear at the top of the table. Conceding sloppy goals against Albrechts, they gave Kiki Krychek a second bite at the cherry, which got Balestier back into that game before half-time. What does Vidmar need to do to get a grip of this defence?
Yeah,
It still remains leaky.
Look, I think in certain situations, it's quite right to say that individuals in certain areas are perhaps making a few mistakes. And, you know, they're trying to sort of weed those errors out of their game. We've seen some high-profile mistakes from a couple of their big players, a couple of the experienced players.
And Hassan
go back.
too.
That's what I meant. Yeah. That's what I meant. Big players, experienced players. You know, we saw that game against Hougang as well. He was... There was an undercooked pass played into him, couldn't quite get into it, and Hougang were able to capitalize. It seems like it's starting to get better. You know, they've got to, what they want to do in these situations, because you're a side that's in possession of the ball a lot, you will be susceptible to these counter-attacking situations here that we're seeing. And this is what sides will look to use against you. So it's very important that Shadan, along with Georges Philippe and Amirul Adli, are able to control those central areas, because they will get dragged wide into those wider positions. They then need to delay the play, allow the rest of the team to fall back. For the opposition, it's about hitting them in the counter-attacking situations. The other way that Lion City Sailors can prevent counter-attacks is to make sure that counter-pressing game is very good. That means when they do lose the ball, immediately they're able to close ranks together. So they've got to be moving up and down the pitch together.
Just to get you up to speed, we'll bring you the full team news in a minute, but the breaking news, Tomoyuki Doi only fit enough for a place on the bench. Glenong and Anik, who had such good debuts last week, they were sensational. They both start, and Maxat is back up against Stipe Plazmac. Can't wait for this one. When we come back, we'll hear from the managers. We'll look back at that incredible game in March when Hougang stuffed the Sailors at Jalan Besar, and kick-off then will be only moments away. Stay with us. It's Saturday Night Football with fans back at the Hougang Stadium, live on Singtel, StarHub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports. Stay with us. Welcome back live inside the Hougang Stadium. Saturday night, AIA Singapore Premier League football. The fans are back as we kick off the second of 3 rounds in the AIA Singapore Premier League. If you're not familiar with the format, 8 teams, they all play each other 3 times, which leads, doesn't it, Roshan, some interesting equations about who plays which team at home twice. They all complain about the fixture list, but it all gives us plenty of spice to get stuck into. And this game certainly gives us spice to get stuck into, if only because of that game back in March. When you look at the last 5 meetings between these two, somewhat surprisingly, even though the Lion City Sailors era is only 2 years old, Hougang have the better of it. You can sift through that and find 3 Hougang wins in the last 5 fixtures. Remember, back in 2019, Hougang were busy qualifying for the AFC Cup, a competition that the Sailors qualified for last season. But it's the one game that stands out, Roshan, and I will never get tired of looking back on it. It was so exciting to be there at Jalan Besar, and quite frankly, Hougang deserved all 3 points and got all 3 points.
Yeah, I think they just adjusted their approach in this game tactically. I think, you know, what Lion City Sailors were perhaps surprised by was the intensity of the pressing from Hougang and how high they were looking to try and engage Lion City Sailors. They waited for situations where the ball was going to come out into certain areas where they could press the central defender. Once Tomoyuki Doi got the signal to go out and apply that pressure, he certainly did that. I mean, Gilberto Fortunato, we haven't really spoken about him, but he's again another one who's been missing through injury, and he's again a big miss for them because they have a really good partnership and an understanding up front, that Hougang United pair. Again, Gilberto leading the press in those situations. You just look at how high Hougang United have set themselves up in this game, and then of course the finishing quality of Tomoyuki Doi helping them out. But we see examples of the mistakes from the Lion City Sailors here that have led to a couple of Hougang United goals. That mistake by Hassan earlier on in this game. They need to cut out those situations in this one, and we'll see how much they've learned from their experiences in that last game. I think we're expecting Hougang United to perhaps be setting up slightly different sort of formation as well. So we'll see what sort of happens once the game kicks off.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the teams when it comes through, but there's a suspicion they might go down the same route that Marko Kravic went with Balestier last week, which is the back 3, which even though they lost 4-1, wasn't an unmitigated disaster. They were competitive till half-time, and you've hit on a point good there as well. No Gilberto, he seems to be MIA with an injury. Doi only on the bench, and I'll tell you, he's going to have to step up against his former club tonight, and that's Kaishu Yamazaki. His presence, I mean, he is ultimately the key to this game for Hougang tonight. Yeah,
again, look, I thought it was key. He's been key for them this season so far, driving through midfield for them and organizing things with them in terms of their play with possession. He's going to have to be important here. Karen Lizam for them up front as well.
Now let's get pitch side. Farah Naya, our superstar, down on the pitch, has been catching up with the 2 coaches. We'll hear from the Sailors coach Aurelio Vidmar after Farah has caught up with Clement Teo.
Thank you, Patrick. A big one today, second on the table, up against third. Clement, what are your thoughts going into this one?
Oh, well, it's going to be tough. I'm very sure of that. I mean, yes, they are a totally different team altogether right now, as you can see in their games, previous games. Whereas we struggled, against Tanjong Pagar and against Young Lions. So it's tough, but as you know, football is very unpredictable. Players have been told to back up, and naturally we hope to see a good game of football.
But how confident are you tonight? Because in the first round of fixtures, you beat them 3-1. You're the only one to inflict a loss on them so far this season, and you're still unbeaten at home.
Well, of course, we hope to inflict the second defeat, but it's challenging, but not impossible. We will try. Unfortunately, due to some injuries in the team, we are not able to have a full squad.
Speaking of injuries, let's talk team selection. Any major changes for tonight?
Oh yes, naturally, Doi has got a very bad knock, and he will not start, that's for sure. We are looking at a long term of our team in a player. We do not want the injury to be a long-term injury, so we are taking precaution. And at the end of the day, it's his body, how he felt, and he just felt that he would not be able to start. So we have checked, and sadly, he will be on the bench.
Aurelio, your only loss of the season so far, of course, came against your opponents here today, Hougang United. Fair to say you're looking to make that right tonight?
Sure, yes, that was a difficult game for us. Although the majority of the game we had the right metrics, but unfortunately we didn't win the game. So tonight is again a very important game for both teams, but yeah, we'd like to take one back.
Now, on the subject of that loss, how different would you say was the side that you put out then to the one you'll be putting out today?
Yeah, obviously it's a little bit different. I'm sure theirs is a little bit different as well since the last time we met. So our lineup hasn't changed from last week. We had a great game. The young boys who came in did a great job for us. So we'll start again with the same lineup.
That's what the managers had to say. I view Clement Teo and Ferdous a bit like Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid, a great old and youthful combo coaching Hougang United. You look at the starting 11, it does suspiciously look like a back three. And again, you can't escape Gilberto and Tomoyuki Doi only on the bench. A big miss and another big night ahead for Khairul Nizam.
Yeah, look, we talk about possibly a back three in there, unless maybe Anders is playing at right back with Lionel and Maksat in central defence. So we'll see how they sort of line up as they get out onto the pitch here. But Khairul Nizam's got to have a big game for them up front. Idraki, another one to keep an eye on. Very good with his dribbles, always looks to be nice and direct, take defenders on.
Let's check out the Lion City Sailors, unchanged, unsurprisingly, from that 4-1 win against Balestier. And that means, and that's some achievement, that the retaining of the places from Glenn Ong and Anik yep. Roshan, who made sensational debuts in my eyes. They lasted well over the hour, the pair of them, and they're impressive. And on the bench again, every time you see a Sailors starting lineup, the bench, all of those players walk into most of the other teams in the league.
Well, incredible strength in this Lion City Sailors squad and options to change it around. Anik and Glenong were brilliant in their debut against Balestier. I thought they're getting another opportunity here, and it's up to them then to show that they deserve more game time with this Lion City Sailors side. But it's great to see some of these younger players coming through and playing with, and being very brave with the way that they play.
A week after the Lion City Sailors recorded back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Is this now where we see the Sailors juggernaut going full steam ahead? All hands on deck, as they like to say. Are they going to win this game and win it comfortably, or do you think it'll be tight? What's your prediction? Because I know you didn't predict Hougang 3 Lion City Sailors won at Jalan Bazaar. No. Nobody did.
No, I certainly didn't expect that result. Look, when you look at the lineups and when you look at the players Hougang are missing here, and the fact that I mentioned at the start, Lion City Sailors, if they have aspirations for a title, have got to start beating the sides in and around them at the top of the table. And it's a perfect opportunity here because of the players that Hougang are missing. Have they learned from that first experience? This is what we're going to find out here in the 90 minutes. I'm picking Lion City Sailors to go out and win this game because I think they need to start showing that sort of caliber to take them towards the title.
And Tomoyuki Doi, we've got to talk about him again. He's the league's leading goal scorer. Do you think Clement Teo would only throw him on in the last 20 minutes if they're a goal down or the game is tight? Will it be a last resort using him?
I don't think it's... I'm not sure how serious the injury is, but I don't think it's worth risking him too much because let's remember, he's still got plenty of games to go. If he's not quite right, I wouldn't gamble too much unless the injury is, of course, manageable.
Right, kick-off now. It's just moments away. Stay with us live on Singtel StarHub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and One Play Sports. It's Saturday night action, and the fans are back. Get down and support your local AIA Singapore Premier League club this weekend. Only $8 to get in, $5 concessions. If you go to a game this weekend and don't enjoy it, come and find me. I'll refund the money. Kick-off next. Cheetahs Sailors live. Welcome back live to the Hougang Stadium, where the 250 tickets were snapped up in minutes. And Roshan, I had a tweet of it. What a lovely picture that was.
Yeah.
First time in a long while we've seen queues outside a Singapore Premier League ground.
I think that was your first tweet that I ever liked, Patrick. Good job there with that.
I tell you something, I am by far a prolific tweeter. I can't stand social media. I only really do it to spy on people like you with your XGs and all this, that and the other. But I felt compelled to do it because, like yourself, Roshan, I know we're both very passionate about the AIA Singapore Premier League, with what's happening at the Lion City Sailors, with great work being done at Tampines by the likes of Desong. Obviously, Matthew and his team do a great job here at Hougang. All the clubs, right the way down to Tanjung Pagar, who, of course, are at the wrong end of the table, but have, you know, in a short space of time, really got something special going there. I'm behind the league, and I think it's important we all get behind it in Singapore. I don't want any negativity. We can have healthy debate, where there'll always be bad things to talk about and good things, but let's kick out the negativity in football in Singapore. For
sure, Patrick. And I think one of the positives that we were quite happy to highlight in our pre-show as well was the fact that fans are starting to come back in, which is always great to see, adding atmosphere to the games. And it's going to be a big boost to the players as well to come out, and you know you've got people watching you. This is why you play professional sport. You want to have spectators there. You want to show off your skills. And they're quite lucky as well that we've got all the games are being covered live pretty much. So everyone gets an opportunity to watch the matches here. People at home as well. If you can't get out to the stadiums, at least tune in and see and have a look at the quality available to you in the Singapore Premier League.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you take Roshan's advice. Now, don't forget, games simultaneously going on at Jurong East tonight. The Jags against the Stags. And Tampines looking to rebound again after some disappointing results. They beat Geylang by 3-2. Geylang looking for their first win since the opening day against the Young Lions tomorrow. I'll be there at Jalan Besar. Get down. The players about to come out onto the service here at the Hougang Stadium, and it's lovely to hear the atmosphere. Boy, does it make a difference. I think we could be in for something special here tonight. Remember, the Sailors have won their last 2 games by an aggregate of 12-1 against Geylang and Balestier Khalsa, and Hougang struggled against rock-bottom Young Lions a week ago. So many conundrums, but we thought the Sailors would dismiss Hougang on home turf when they failed in March. They've got a point to prove, and I think particularly Gabriel Quack. Gabriel Quack, for me, we obviously raved about his goal last week. It's been talked about as a Puskas nomination. I don't know whether that'll come to fruition, but I sent him a message today. I said, it's all very well doing it on a sunny Sunday in the luxury of Jalan Besar. Can you do it on a rainy Saturday night in Hougang? That's the Singapore equivalent of a Tuesday night in Stoke, and he promised me another special goal tonight.
Oh, then we're going to see something special. Then you've raised my expectation levels now, Patrick. You put lots of pressure on Gabriel Quack, and I'm sure he'll be looking forward to delivering it. Again, it's been in such great goal-scoring form for his side this season, having his best goal-scoring season, I would think. In fact, with this Lion City Sailors side, it's come about as a result of his change in his approach to matches, the tactical side of things, allowed to drift in a lot more, and you know, look to cause overloads in those central positions, make those late runs in behind that I touched on in the build-up to this game. And it's nice to see him add that finishing touch to his game now as well. It's all about development as a player. He's got plenty of experience. He's an international, 29 years of age. He's been playing for a long time. It's a great example of how you can keep learning and keep developing.
Stadium announcers doing a great job of whipping up the crowd. It may only be 250 people, but it sounds and feels like 2,500. And the atmosphere hopefully will rub off on the players. And as we look at the officials, obviously a new pressure this season for some of the officials, many of which are new to the league this season. And our match officials, led by referee Fahad Mohammed, Manoj Kalwani, Tang Min Kai running the lines, and Chang Kwok Wai is our 4th official. Nice to see Fahad Mohammed with a confident smile as Hassan Sunny and Fabian Kwok, the 2 skippers, meet in the middle. You've obviously been in this environment. For the Lion City Sailors, who are more used to playing on the artificial surface at Jalan Besar, do they train on grass through the week? Do they have a different build-up when they know they're playing on grass at the weekends?
You can, if you can get a pitch sorted out where you can look to try and train on grass, you know, that would certainly help you as far as possible. If you can, you try to do that.
There's the starting lineup for Hougang United. The big news, Tomoyuki Doi only fit enough for a place on the bench. Shawad Ishak only on the bench as well. They've got some interesting players. Hafiz can play, as can Fire Salah. But you've already pinpointed Idraki, Maxat, that Maxat-Stipe battle, going to be absolutely crucial. And the Sailors unchanged. I wonder if Vidmar thinks he might have found his first choice starting 11, because he has been into rotation so far this season. Yeah,
you know, it's working well for you. Why change it? You know, we've got nice tempo. You've got a rhythm going with your side. A few of injuries there have been affected by a couple of injuries to some of the under-23 players, and that's why we're seeing likes of Anik and Glenn getting opportunities. But look, it's a chance for these young players to shine. And for Clementino, the same. They've had a few injuries as well at Hougang. It's a test of the squad depth.
I was having a chat with Clementino earlier. He's obviously been missing for a couple of games this season. He's had a couple of health issues with a stent in his heart, but obviously so passionate about Hougang, and he's very fortunate to have Ferdows. I think they work well, don't they, as that mix of youth and experience, whereas Vidmar, I think, likes to sail solo over at Jalan Besar. Well,
he's got a reliable team beside him as well. He's got Nur Rahman just over his left shoulder. Nur Rahman is an incredibly talented young coach as well, and wonderful professional he was when he was playing.
So we're underway this Saturday night. It's the Sailors playing left to right in the blue and white, and Hougang in their famous orange and black playing right to left. And straight away, a chance for Shardan, who scored his first goal of the season last week with a stunner with a really good ball down that left-hand side. Naikudin is there, squaring it Stipe, and they've had to turn it behind for a corner. The Sailors out the traps, on fire, Roshan Rai.
Yeah, very quickly. Ball out to, I think it was Saifullah down the left-hand side, looking to hit that space in behind Farhan Zulkifli. There we go there. And again, it's we thought it might have been a back three, or with Anders, a back four with Anders playing on as a fullback in one of the positions. It looks like he's actually going to be starting at left back here, Anders Aplin.
Well, they might not have any choice. It might end up being a back five if the Sailors keep that up for the 90 minutes. I'll flicked on by Stipe. Referee saw an infringement in the area, and Hougang will get a chance to call their lines. Yeah, down that left-hand side, they're very dangerous, aren't they? You were quite right, that was Saifullah rather than Naikudin, but both those players down the left, I mean, they can alternate, you know, they cover each other when one gets forward and vice versa. The left-hand side is where they did so much of their damage last week against Balestier. It's an early touch for Ridwan Barudin, who you'd expect to be quite busy this evening.
You just have a look at certain situations where they try and occupy spaces in the middle of the park with Saifullah. I know he's starting out on the left-hand side, but he will be allowed to drift into those central areas, create a bit of space for Nakiuddin from left back to then provide that width and attack down the flank.
It's the first touch for George Felipe, already a goal scorer with that crucial equaliser against Alborex, which was back on match day 5 when they came from 2-0 down at Jalan Besar to avoid their second defeat of the season. Now Gabriel Quack, if they get it going down the left with Naikudin and Saifullah, Gabriel Quack tends to do it all on his own. He's playing with any amount of confidence, Gabriel Quack. I like the swagger about him. It's not arrogance. I think it's an entitled swagger that he's got every right to have at the moment.
Oh, he's playing with plenty of confidence. You don't mind seeing that. It was a lovely turn away from pressure by Glenn Ong.
Glenn Ong, who was a superstar last week, picking up where he left off in that win against Balestier. And it's amazing the difference playing with top quality players around you has on some of these youngsters. But all of a sudden, it's a chance for a bit of space for Hougang.
But there's that good work rate I was talking about from Saifullah in the build-up to this game. Having to track back, cover those spaces in midfield as the team gets stretched. He got himself back to take the ball off the toes of Khairul Nizam there.
He's probably already had more touches than any other Sailor player out there. I'm only 3 minutes in. Hustling with Naikudin, gets it back to Saifullah. Glenn Ong is making himself available. They get it back inside their own half where George Felipe, whose distribution has been slightly questionable through the last couple of weeks. He's always the kind of defender that might pop up and score a set piece that might sometimes help you overlook some defensive lapses, but his distribution not been perfect. Stipe Plazovac's back flick left Saifullah with a bit to do. Now the impressive Glenn Ong, who along with Anik Roshan, having made their debuts last week, retain their places. Stipe gets it out wide. Here's Naikudin. It's definitely Naikudin this time, and I thought we were going to get a carbon copy of that magical cross that set up Gabriel Quack for the opener last week. It wasn't to be, and I wonder if that's got something to do with the surface as well.
Well, they've been talking about working those crossing situations down the left-hand side, and how happy he was, Naikudin, that he got that assist for Gabriel's goal. Having working on the training ground, you can see quite clearly, again, as I touched on, just as Saifullah drifts inside, Naikudin is going to have to be the one that provides that width, and they'll be looking for a little bit better in terms of that quality of the crosses coming in.
Just being pegged back towards Diego Lopez. Did my eyes deceive me, or has Diego Lopez had a rather neat and tidy haircut since we last saw him a week ago? Looks rather sharp. The record signing in the AIA Singapore Premier League, $3 million. The chance, if you're just watching the AIA Singapore Premier League for the first time this season, to see what $3 million gets you. And it's obviously afforded him a very tidy barber as Diego Lopez battles over on that far side, and he's almost toying with them momentarily. He left Farhan Zulkifli standing, and Farhan Zulkifli has to track back and concede another corner. So 2 corners for the Sailors inside 5 minutes, and Diego Lopez, it's all about that class that seems to give him that extra 5 seconds and yard of space.
Well, you'd expect that, right? From the sort of league and the level that he was playing at before coming here, you'd expect him on an individual level to be a couple of 2-3 steps up from what he's going to be up against here in this competition. And you see that class coming through, starting to settle off the pitch as well, which will help him.
So Chardin with the corner. Keep an eye on George Felipe, the giant number 4. Felipe very nearly got to him. It was a crucial clearance away. It could have been in a bit of bother there. I think it was Lionel Tan that got the header on it. And Hougang are being pegged back very early here, and it's almost a reversal of the way that game started in March, because Hougang were so quick out the traps and they high-pressed and hassled and harried the Lion City Sailors. They're getting a taste of their own medicine here through the first 5 and a bit minutes.
Now, that was what I was talking about as well, in terms of Lion City Sailors controlling counter-attacking situations off a set piece there. Getting that high starting position, counter-pressing the moment they lose the ball.
Look at that from Gabriel Quack. The flag's up for offside. It won't count. Much to the disappointment, I'm sure, of Saifullah, who was over there on that far side. But Gabriel Quack, he's already getting U's and R's to the fans now they're back in the stadium.
Yeah, always going to look to drift inside onto his favourite left foot there. Saifullah just mistiming his run in behind that defence, but they've gotten off to a really good start. Very quick tempo to this game from Lion City Sailors. They put Hougang under pressure very early on, not allowing them to get into any sort of rhythm.
Free kick being taken from nowhere near, I think, where Saifullah was adjudged offside. A chance for them to clear their lines to the midway. There won't be any short goal kicks in these conditions. It has been raining. If you're not in Singapore, it's been raining very heavily here all week, and it rained practically all morning, but the great drainage, oh my word, at this Hougang Stadium as Fabian Kwok ends up on the deck, but is up safely after a very strong challenge. Now the first time to see Hougang and what they can do offensively, and it's Kaishu Yamasaki, the former Sailor. Yamasaki through the middle, and no one running onto it. And again, that's where they missed Tomoyuki Doi, Roshan.
Yeah, you know, Tomoyuki Doi, we're looking to try and just make that run in front of the defender, catching him on the blind side in that situation. Kaishu only really had the option of Khairul Nizam there, up against a couple of Lion City Sailors defenders. Here's that quick long ball in behind for Saifullah to chase, up against Farhan Zulkifli.
Zulkifli is lost out to Saifullah. He's in the area, goes down.
And it's inside. It's just outside, you know.
Outside, I think. Referee's going to show the yellow card, and I don't think Farhan Zulkifli going to have too many complaints already. He's been given a torrid time by Naikuddin and Saifullah down that left-hand side. He was made to look a little bit daft there, and fortunately for Farhan Zulkifli, it's just outside the area, but nevertheless, with Chardin over the ball, any angle is a scoreable angle.
Well, wonderful work by Saifullah again down that left-hand side, and this time didn't try and play through that press from Hougang, just that quick long ball over the top. As we see Farhan picking up the yellow card.
It's because he knows he's got Roshan Rai's beady eye on him today. That was Roshan's player to keep an eye on, Saifullah, and he's doing Rai proud at the moment. Now, Chardin scored an absolute beauty of a free kick last week, and there's a chance he could try and go direct for goal or look for a flick on. Chardin, poor delivery by his high standards. It's not cleared yet, though. Here's Naikuddin. Naikuddin spreads it wide, and Diego Lopez misses it out, and it's behind for a goal kick. Again, educate people that haven't played the game at your level, Roshan, myself included, of course. When you're even taking set pieces, is there a difference between taking set pieces on turf to those artificial surfaces at Jurong East, our Tampines hub, and Jalan Besar? Because obviously here at Hougang and Topayo, I mean, they're two grass surfaces. I think everyone would say...
There is an adjustment to it, how the ball moves, how the ball bounces on the different surfaces. And also, if you've got an artificial turf, I think at Jalan Besar, as opposed to the one at OTH as well, at Jalan Besar, at least they water the surface, which makes it quicker. The ball moves a little bit truer. Whereas at OTH, sometimes you see a little bit of bobble on that artificial surface. So it definitely does have a bit of an impact on how you've got to adjust to the flight of the ball, movement of the ball, and the different playing surfaces.
Diego Lopez releases Naikuddin down the left-hand side. It still remains a little bit like one-way traffic here. Still goalless, incidentally, at Jurong East, Tanjung Pagar and Tampines. Saifullah's having a field day early. He tried to find that overlapping runner with the no-look pass, but only succeeded in giving the ball to Kaishu Yamazaki. Kaishu Yamazaki gets it out to that right-hand side, where Idraki Adnan, another player that Roshan's keeping a close eye on tonight, sees it go out, and Hougang at least have a throw. So I suppose they've achieved something by lasting the best part of 10 minutes without conceding, but early possessional evidence suggests they're going to be under the pump for large portions of this game, as Clementino momentarily got up from his dugout. If you're just joining us, the big team news, no Tomoyuki Doi. He's only fit enough for a place on the bench after picking up a groin injury in midweek, and Gilberto is still injured. And we haven't seen Gilberto now for quite a while. I hope he recovers soon, because Hougang are going to need him now. Anders Aplin, formerly of Geylang, gets it to this near side where Norful Asman does well. Here's Norful. Can he pull the trigger, Norful? Well, my word, Hassan Sully's ended up having to make, albeit a routine save, but there was some encouragement for them going through the middle, Roshan.
Yeah, you're right. Give them that little bit of encouragement here, Hougang. Again, it was nice positive play by Naufal, just looking to drift inside and got an inverted winger on this part of the pitch. Whereas with Terakhir, you know, he's going to be just trying to hug the touchline. They're looking for that space to take a defender on in those wider positions, whereas Naufal giving that license to cut in field. He's got space here to go and attack.
Here they come again, and it's
well defended by Glenn.
Once more. But he gets back well. These two youngsters continuing to impress for the Sailors. Now Plazibat heading it down, but his usual foil, Gabriel Quack, wasn't in attendance. Goodness gracious me, Glenn puts in a lot of work. And here's the other youngster, Anik Ralshan. Anik into Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez's first experience at the Hougang Stadium. It'll be interesting to see what he makes of it after. It's a very unique environment here. 250 tickets. I don't think the How's got too many of them, as Hougang want a free kick and don't get one.
Well, that's a nice little battle to keep an eye out on that occasion. Farhan looking like he'd just been able to have that pace and that acceleration to get away from Saifullah, who to his credit recovered well to win the ball back for his side.
George Felipe gets it back to Hassan Sunny, despite the attentions of Khairul Nizam, who's a player, Khairul Nizam, his career needs to really reignite, and he's going to get an opportunity tonight with Tomoyuki Doi not fully fit to lead that line. Can he do to the Lion City Sailors what Tomoyuki Doi and Lionel Tan, in fairness, did a couple of weeks ago, out for a throw to the Sailors? Well, they started with a swagger. The Sailors, if you were going to criticise them, it's fine when they get an early goal. They can really run riot. Sometimes, like a couple of the SPL clubs, in fairness, Albrecht's, I'll take you back to that game we saw, Albrecht's against Balestier. The plan B is interesting when plan A doesn't start working, but obviously too early for any kind of alarm in the Sailors. Will Vidmar be happy enough with how they've started?
Yeah, I'm sure he would be. Again, look, they've generally dominated the first 12 minutes of this match or so. Aside from that one shot from range from Naufal, Hougang really haven't been given much of an opportunity to string a few passes together. And Lion City Sailors looking dangerous on the attack.
Trouble here. Chardin gets it to Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez at the edge of the area.
Oh, handball.
That's handball. And he's already been booked, hasn't he, here?
Oh, this is an interesting one for the referee.
What does the referee do here? Because Farhan Zulkifli is having a torrid time, and he's already been booked. Now, by rights, this should be a red card. Yeah, that is a second yellow. It could even be a straight red, the way he's done that. Well, that's got to be a second yellow, and if he's not sent him off here, Farhan Zulkifli is a very lucky boy.
I think he's going to get away with it. I think
it's a yellow card, Roshan.
It is a second yellow. It's at least a yellow card, and that would mean a second yellow card, and he should be sent off. Farhan, the young man, he knows exactly what he's doing there. We've got the benefit of the replays here, so we can see.
Well, he didn't need the replay. The referee was right on top of it. Put it this way, that's how they invented rugby. What Farhan Zulkifli just did there. Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, he's gotten away with that one, and so have Hougang.
He's dodged a bullet, but the trouble is Farhan Zulkifli's still got to survive another 77 minutes, being tortured almost at this point by Saifullah and Naikudin. Chardin messed up the first one, and he very nearly made up for it with a second onto the roof of the net as he tried to be cheeky. Second time from that angle, Roshan, and from that angle it gives you so many options. Direct to goal, go for goal with maybe a flick on that deceives the goalkeeper, and he very nearly got it under the crossbar.
Tough one. Just looking to try and hit that far post there, Chardin, with that free kick. We know he has the technique and the quality to do it. Just trying to catch Ridwan off guard, but very obvious area of weakness for this Hougang defense is down their right-hand side with young Farhan Zulkifli, and Lion City Sailors always looking to apply the pressure in those areas, as you can see there, and quick, long, searching balls in behind the spaces for either Saifullah or Diego to go on and chase.
I know you're a stickler for the rules, Roshan, and I think by and large, by the way, referees haven't had a nightmare this season. I think there's been very good refereeing performances. I'm a big fan of Nathan Chan. But in that situation, there's no question that the referee is aware he's already booked Farhan Zulkifli and is just trying to avoid giving such an early red card. And it's not just in the Singapore Premier League. I think that goes for football everywhere, you know.
It shouldn't matter, though, right?
It shouldn't, but it does. And not just in Singapore. I think worldwide there's psychology that comes into it. Just like when a referee...
Yeah, of course.
When a referee ends up giving a soft red card, you almost think he tries to make up for it by being harsher on the team that benefited from it in the second half. It goes on. It's human psychology. But Hougang have got away with one there. George Felipe, hard enough playing against the Sailors with 11, let alone 10. Well, picking it up in the middle of the park.
Well, there's a chance for Afiq to actually have a look at the switch of play out to Naufal here. Plenty of space down this left-hand side. If you can get the quick switches, Hougang, quite sure why you delayed there.
They've got to try and transition out of midfield quickly, because clearly, on a man-for-man basis, the Lion City Sailors midfield is the best in the division. Simple as that.
And look, I mean, we've spotted an obvious area of a weakness for Hougang that Lion City Sailors are trying to exploit. And if you're Hougang, you're thinking, you've got a 17-year-old right back with the Lion City Sailors, inexperienced, playing just his second game for the side in the Singapore Premier League. Get it out to Naufal. Go and run at him. We've already seen evidence of, you know, him being able to cut inside, drift in field, have a shot at goal. Look for those quick switches, because they're being put under pressure down the left-hand side. Get it out to Afiq, or get it out to one of your central midfielders, and the switches have to be quick.
So just over 15 minutes gone. Hougang have survived. Well, the biggest scare they've had is the red card that should have been shown to Farhan Zulkifli. That's behind for a goal kick. One thing they'll have to capitalise on if and when they get set-piece opportunities. We know Maxat's already on the goal-scoring charts this season. I mean, and that's their problem. We talked about Tomoyuki Doi. He's the only player to score more than one goal this season for Hougang. And while on the flip side of that, they've obviously spread the goals around 7 other players, so there's 7 scorers. It is a worry that they're heavily reliant on Tomoyuki Doi, because by and large, let's face it, in the Singapore Premier League, you need to score more than 1 goal to get a point, let alone all 3. It's not like England where you can, or Italy, where you can sneak 1-0 wins from time to time. Oh, they're through here, just too much on it. Hassan Sunny gathers, but that was promising. Naufal Asman very nearly getting on the end of it, Roshan. Encouraging.
That's much better. That's the right idea. Again, you turn on it in midfield, look for those quick balls into Naufal.
Well, the fans getting into this now, it does make a difference, even for Roshan and myself sat here in the commentary position as we are.
It's brilliant, isn't
live
it?
In the stadium. It gives you chills, and I can't wait to see the capacity go up from 250 at the appropriate time, of course, when the governing bodies know it's safe to do so. He's built coming into this game, Afiq Noor, a little. He's built like tree trunks, his legs, aren't they? He's like a tree trunk all round. And he's, again, the vogue that was started by Zach Anderson last season for these short shorts, Afiq is carrying it on here. Now, Anders Aplin.
Well, the thing is, Afiq's actually got the ties to pull it off.
Yeah. Maybe Anders Aplin hasn't. That's why he's got the tights on. Gabriel Quack, he's pulled back by Anders Aplin. And the last thing they want to do is see Anders Aplin go into the book, because that'll mean both defenders out on the flanks will be walking tight ropes for the best part of 70 minutes. Another set-piece opportunity. Gabriel Quack, who's showed a couple of flashes through this first 17.5 minutes, but hasn't had a clear run on goal. I mean, we've talked about Vidmar being happy to this point. Are you happy enough if you're Clement Teo that you just kept them out by this stage?
Just hanging on, just surviving for now, Hougang.
Chardin or Quack. It'll be Quack with the in-swinger. Didn't get much height now. That's the second free kick where maybe because they're kicking it off turf, they haven't got the elevation they require. But Chardin gets it back from Gabriel Quack, and that's a free header. They're able to get it away. Good header as well by the former City Sailor, Kaishu Yamazaki. Oh, that's gone through to Khairul Nizam, and Khairul Nizam has got one man to beat, and he's got pace to burn. He's found the man in the middle. Back to Khairul Nizam, and Hassan Sunny. That's actually a decent save, because he had to react and show reflexes to what was a miss-hit opportunity, Roshan Wright.
Khairul Nizam's done really well in that situation to carry the ball as far as he has up against Anik. He just invites the challenge to come in, gets the support arriving from Idraki. Again, it's those counter-attacking situations that Sailors have to look out for.
Oh, at the other end, a very crucial intervention from Lionel Tan. Yeah, good work from Idraki, and as I said, Khairul Nizam didn't strike that sweetly, which in some ways gave Hassan Sunny still a tricky save to pull off, because I think he was expecting that to be a full stretch save. As it was, it came quite close to him, but he had to react to the scuff shot. But I think you've pinpointed it already, Roshan. Before that passage of play, they're going to have to try and target the inexperienced Anik Roshan, and clearly that's what Khairul Nizam did there. Hougang coming back into this, Roshan, which is encouraging for the neutral.
It is. It's great to see. I mean, you can see quite clearly what the pattern of play here is. It's a beautiful diagonal ball from Glenn out into Gabriel. One-on-one against Anders.
Gabriel Quack. Oh, he skinned Anders Applin for dinner. Gabriel Quack, keep it, he can get there. Danger's not gone. Another shot comes in. It was a crucial block from Lionel Tan. Shardan, they're pouring forward. Stipe in the area. Tries to create the space and shot for the goal. Stipe Plazabat digs it over the top, and it's well gathered in the end by Ridwan. But my, oh my, Gabriel Quack, electric there.
Yeah, they're getting rinsed. Anders Applin rinsed, thrown in the tumble dryer, left and right getting twisted here. Wonderful work by Gabriel Quack. Also looking to try and get it onto his left foot, just unbalancing Anders Applin in that situation. Got enough bodies in there. Eventually Hougang just hanging in there. It looks so dangerous, Patrick, every time they get forward with the ball, Lion City Sailors.
He sent Anders Applin out for a diet soda, and Anders Applin came back with a copy O there. That was very concerning. Both flanks being given a torrid time. At least Anders isn't on a yellow card yet. The shot monitor, if you like, from Genius Sports actually shows that Hougang have more shots on goal than the Lion City Sailors. That is one of the most misleading statistics, if you're just joining us, than you've seen so far this season. How about this for a shock potentially at Jurong East? Tanjung Pagar United lead Tampines Rovers by a goal to nil early. The Jags lead the Stags midway through the first half at Jurong East. Goal scorer to follow. Here still goalless. But not for the want of trying for the Lion City Sailors. And Tanjung Pagar United taking the lead in the 18th minute. Goal scorer to follow here. We await the opening goal. Do you think it's going to come before half-time, Roshan? It's interesting how this game's being played out. They're going to create 2 or 3 more opportunities before half-time,
Yeah, I think so. You feel like a big opportunity, a big opening is coming for Lion City Sailors here. They doubled up on Gabriel now with Naufal tracking back.
Gabriel Quack has got a double date on that right-hand side now. Shardan. Oh, Shardan with a late challenge there. They've let it go. The Hougang players hate it. Here's George Felipe. Gabriel Quack tried to chest it down, but I think it's off. So it's handball, I think, rather than offside. Did they have a case there, Hougang, for the non-whistle of the referee?
I think so, you know. I thought there was good defending in midfield by Afik. He's got the ball in ahead of Shardan.
Well, bottom line is they've navigated almost the first half of the first half. We do have the hydration breaks in the AIA Singapore Premier League as we slowly but surely get back to normality. And one of those things, if you're just joining us, 250 tickets were up for grabs, and a wonderful sight seeing fans queuing up from them earlier. Oh, Diego Lopez, Saifuna's got pace to burn, but just too much on the ball through from Lopez, and it's gathered by Ridwan, but they're carving them apart, left, right, and through the middle.
I'm telling you, you look at the stat on the shots here, but it's we'll come back to it in just a little bit as we see how this attack from Hougang develops.
Fabian Kwok gets it out wide, twisting, turning. Trying to make something happen over on that left-hand side of the Lion City Sailors defence. Here's Maxat, who alongside Lionel Tan is going to be busy. Lionel Tan's been involved in a couple of controversial incidents of late against Balestier and the Young Lions in consecutive match days, so all eyes on him throughout the course of this game. Here's a young man that's impressed at this point, Norful Asman. That's a fair challenge. Beautifully won by Shardan. Plazabat lays it off. Gabriel Quack with, on that occasion, too fancy a touch. And now Afik Noor tries to spread Hougang down the right-hand side, where Naikudin is going to lose out to Kaishu Yamazaki. Yamazaki, the former sailor, deflected, and this might be their first corner. No, Hassan Sunny does enough to prevent it from going out. Hassan Sunny, as the Sailors tend to do, they won't be taking many long-range goal kicks. Their philosophy, isn't it, is play it out from the back, and they do like to, when the defending set pieces and there's defenders from the opposition committed forward, they love to try and go coast to coast. Their transition is frighteningly quick.
It's about varying your game, and that's what we've seen from Lion City Sailors. Yes, at times they will try and play it out of the back if they can, just to draw that press, and then look for the spaces, the long ball in behind, which we've already seen on a couple of occasions.
Oh, Plazabat's found Gabriel Quack, who controls it beautifully, needs support. Gabriel Quack, is the support going to come? Gabriel Quack. Combination of Lionel Tan and Maxat get it clear. And now Hougang with a perfectly timed ball, but not a perfectly precise pass to try and find Kaira Nizam, who would have been onside if they'd have threaded that through. Has Kaira Nizam got the beating of Amarul for pace? That's something that's hopefully we'll find out more about as the game goes on. He certainly looked like he had some pace to burn Kara Nizam in that earlier opportunity, Roshan.
Yeah, you know, he's got the physical profile as well to hold on to the ball as Saifullah links up really well with Stipe Plazibat.
Saifullah goes down again, this time only a corner, doing Farhan Zulkifli very quickly pointing out to referee Farhad Mohammed that he played the ball, and that will take us to the hydration break. Well, just under 25 played. Roshan, what do you make of it so far? The Sailors in the ascendancy, but they haven't made the breakthrough, and Hougang threatening occasionally on the counter.
Yeah, look, it's I think fantastic tempo and intensity to Lion City Sailors start to this match, and they could have had a situation here as well where Farhan Zulkifli could have been sent off.
Let's have a look at that, because that's the main talking point from the first quarter of the game. Farhan Zulkifli had already picked up a yellow for bringing down Saifullah, and look at this, it was Saifullah again, and you have to say,
well, that was the first one, the first yellow.
That was the first one, yeah, and that was, I mean, that was a yellow in itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's great work by Saifullah down this left-hand side. Again, Farhan knows exactly what he's doing there. It's a cynical pullback,
and of course,
just outside of the box.
If he doesn't give the foul there, Saifullah would have been given the yellow card for handball. But this is it now.
This is the
Diego
important
Lopez,
one, though.
And he just falls and picks the ball up almost.
You asked the question here, what's the referee given the free kick for?
Well, he has
if it's handball, it's a deliberate handball in that situation. He's fallen over.
Let's be grown-ups about it, Rosh, and he knows he's booked him, doesn't want to send him off.
You can't do that.
But that's what's happened. Do you believe
if
that's
it's a yellow card foul, you've got to send him off. It doesn't
matter
matter whether it's in the first minute of the game.
Do you believe that's what's happened? Do you believe the referee's conscious that he's booked him?
Your point about this, the psychology of the game.
And that's not, I mean, everyone will go Singapore referees. That's worldwide, by the way.
Yeah, we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen everywhere. We have.
Not right. For the neutral, of course, you might say, well, I prefer it because it's giving us a better game. But he's got to go by the letter of the law. And again, if you're the bad news for the referee there, if you're a referee's assessor in the stands, that won't go down well, will it?
No, no, it won't. It's something they're definitely going to look at. And you know, I don't want to be critical. You know, referees there to do a job. It's unfortunate that Farhad, I don't know what his thought process is in that situation. My point of view, and this is just my opinion, I'm not a referee, I think it should have been a second yellow, should have been sent off there. But game carries on. You got to play to the whistle.
And it'll be very fair. Oh, they're beating the trap in of the flags up against Kara Nizam, and that is desperately close. And the Hougang fans and the Hougang board don't like it. They play on quickly, though. No time to have a replay just yet. Diego Lopez has it in the middle of the field.
I'm not sure he was off there, you know.
We'll have a look at it in a minute. Amaral. Yeah, going back to your point about the criticism of referees, as I said to you last week, Roshan, we'll sing their praises when they make the right calls. We have to point it out when they make the wrong ones. And by and large, there's been some good refereeing performances, but that will be a controversial talking point, particularly if the Lion City Sailors struggle to break them down. Are we going to see two shocks tonight? Because Tanjung Bagali, Tampines Rovers at Jurong East here, Hougang holding out the Sailors, and hopefully we'll get a chance to look back at that offside call that could be another bit of controversy in a minute. Now Diego Lopez with empty space to run into, tries to thread it through to Saifullah, who is there. Plazamate waits in the middle. Diego Lopez looking to get on the end of it as well. Saifullah pulls it back. Gabriel Quack! And I tell you something, these Cheetah boys are putting their bodies on the line. Blocks flying in left, right and centre.
Lovely ball played by Diego Lopez in behind into space for Saifullah to attack. I think it needed to be a very quick cutback rather than to hang on to the ball in that situation to allow Hougang to just reset. Oh,
Shardan's at it again. Naikudin squares it. Plazibat, and another crucial interjection. This time by Maxat. And one thing I'll give Lionel Tan and Maxat credit for, Russian, is they're throwing their bodies all over the penalty area on the line for their club.
They're keeping the side in this, putting the bodies on the line. We touched on Maxat as well and what he brings to this Hougang defence.
Business picking up. I would like, as Roshan said, to have a look at that off cycle that was desperately close. Kara Nizam, they didn't like it here, the Hougang fans inside the Hougang Stadium. It sounded like, oh, flick on! Off target. I think it's taken a touch off a Hougang player, and it has. It'll be another corner, corner number 4. Yeah, it felt like there were 2,500 Hougang fans in there when they were up in arms about that offside decision.
Much better delivery on the set piece on that occasion. It's come off Hougang defender there. Seen a bit of a wastage in terms of how they delivered the set pieces so far. Hopefully you see a step up in that quality of the delivery.
Shardan, whose precision is usually pinpoint. Again, they wanted handball, I think, initially off George Felipe, but nothing doing. And of course, this is where the Hougang could catch the Sailors short of numbers at the back, but that's an intelligent run by Naikudin, just to run that ball out and allow everyone to reform up at the back.
A good decision by Naikudin. Knew that possession would go his way. Just had to get himself across, make sure he killed that space, that opportunity for Terakhir. Just see it out of play. I don't think you can give a handball in this situation. His arm's just right by the side of his body. He's got no clue that it's going to hit him.
This is a reoccurring theme with us, because I agree with you entirely, but when you look at some of the crazy penalties that have been given by VAR with handball in various leagues around the world, anything can happen once you take it up to the eye in the sky. Fortunately, that's a call that Fahad Mohammed has got spot on, as Kaisha Yamazaki, who had not exactly a point to prove, he certainly proved something to the Lion City Sailors at Jalan Besar in March. He, of course, was let go to allow, really, let's face it, for the arrival of Diego Lopez. They traded in Yamazaki for Lopez. Now, what's his delivery? This is their first real half set-piece opportunity. Yamazaki, of course, used to delivering on this surface, and he's sent that one high. Felipe Hassan Sunny comes and spills. The assistant referee's flag is up over on that far side, and Hassan Sunny, as the goalkeepers always tend to do, like to put on a little bit of a display to make sure they get the decision in that situation.
I want to see if this was really a foul here. I mean, I can't see anything wrong with that. What do you expect Khairul Nizam to do? He's got to go up and challenge for the ball.
But again, it's the reality of modern football. The decision always goes the way of the goalkeeper.
He's clattered into Jorge Felipe in that situation. I mean, we're all hoping he's not going to be seriously hurt there, Hassan, but it's a ball that he's had to deal with. Kaishu just giving that defense something to think about.
Yeah. Well, if you're a betting man, you'd be absolutely convinced that Hassan Sunny's going to continue in this game. The way he's down on the deck, you'd think they were going to have to bring on a mobile X-ray machine to check for broken bones, but he'll continue. So we get a look at the fans. There are the Lion City Sailors fans here in great numbers. It's actually interesting to see as well. The attendance is probably split. I reckon it's 125 for the Sailors, 125 for Hougang, and I'm telling you now, the atmosphere they're making befits a stadium with 2,500 people in it. It's wonderful to see, and we can't wait, Roshan and myself, to welcome full capacity attendances back to the AIA Singapore Premier League, because there'll be some that are saying to me now, well, that's ridiculous, you won't get capacity attendances. I'm telling you now, we will. If they open the stadiums, Roshan, I have a friendly wager with you. If they open the stadiums before the end of the season, there will be a sold-out game in the AIA Singapore Premier League between now and the end of the season. It's going to happen.
I think so. I'm not going to take you up on that wager.
Good.
I think so.
We agree on something for the first time this season.
We agree on fans coming back in and the atmosphere that's created. It's been brilliant to see them coming back in. And again, we've touched on this in the weeks leading up, the fans being able to come back into the grounds. But how it's a nice reward as well for the work that's been going on behind the scenes by the authorities, by Sport Singapore, by FAS, the Football Association in Singapore, people at the Singapore Premier League, the clubs.
Well, Gabriel Quacks left Norfal Asman to just take that on. It was not very Gabriel Quack-esque, that. He got away with it. A couple of these Hougang players, they're playing like their lives depend on it here, the Hougang boys, aren't they? They're really stepping up to the plate, putting bodies on the line and working hard across the park.
Listen, it's the very minimum, it's the very least you can do, right?
Well,
if you're having a game, sorry Patrick, there, you're struggling to sort of really string attacking moves together, then the very least you could do is work hard to close down and put your bodies on the line, and that's what they've been doing.
And that's a cheap free kick they've given away on the edge of the area, the Lion City Sailors, and this is actually in a better position than the two set-piece opportunities the Sailors have had. So Kaisha Yamazaki is over it. Looks to me like Afiq Noor fancies a nibble at it, but he now walks away. They'll leave it for Kaisha Yamazaki. And you love this if you're Yamazaki, don't you? Every option is open to you here. You can skid it on the ground along the 6-yard box. You can try and beat Hassan Sunny at his far post, or you can just dink it on the edge of the 6-yard box and try and find Maxat flying in. When you're going to put two men in the wall, or maybe just one, with Diego Lopez and Saifullah, well, that's extraordinary. You could drive it literally. You could drive a gap through the hole. You could drive a car through the hole in that wall. What's Yamazaki going to do? Yamazaki goes wide to the far post. And they'll get a corner out of it.
That's an interesting deliberate setup of that wall by Hassan there, so he can have a clear line of sight to where the ball actually is. But he's also got a player covering that near post. He's got one covering that far post as well, you can see here. And that's why there's a little bit of a gap there to give that goalkeeper that line of sight to where the ball is.
Well, that's one set piece that's come and gone for Hougang. We talked about the importance of them capitalising on their set piece opportunities. They've got their first corner now, and Maxat's already proved it can be a real danger here. Keep an eye on Maxat, the young defender wearing number 14. Yamazaki will deliver again. Now, we had some controversy, didn't we, involving Lionel Tan in the penalty area 2 match days in a row, and he's at it again, this time with Jorge Felipe. And, well, Lionel Tan was involved. He doesn't mind taking the big boys on, does he? He was involved with Bruno Encevic, and now he's taken on probably the tallest player in the league in George Felipe. Hands by his side now, Lionel Tan. Delivery is decent. Hassan Sunny comes, gets a punch to the edge of the area. And they now might be in business down the right-hand side with the youngster, who maybe panicked a little bit with that initial ball. Anik Roshan had time to maybe wait for a runner there, Roshan.
I think just that simple pass into the run of Stipe, right in front of him, rather than putting a bit too much weight on that ball forward. He was under pressure, Anik, to be fair to him. But again, he's been steady along with Glenn, and the two of them, young boys coming in, being given an opportunity and really not letting anyone down, not letting themselves down, most importantly. It's great to see.
Well, on the team sheets we get, the under-23 boys are all highlighted in bold type, but it's a credit to all 6 of them that are in this first half, as mandated by the rules of the league. That only really, and I'm not picking on him, but Farhan Zolkifli is the only one really that's had a bit of a struggle in these early stages. Gabriel Quack comes again for the Sailors. Quack trying to find the run on this near side now of Stipe. He squares it, can't come to Quack. Diego Lopez off the post, and somehow it stays out.
Well, that's unfortunate. Again, another really well-worked move. Quick ball over the top, attack the space in behind, and the composure that Plazibat shows here, it actually doesn't get helped by the pitch, because you just see how it cuts up there. Stops the momentum of the move ever so slightly.
That's actually hit both posts, I think. Look at this. I think this hits both posts, Roshan.
Well, just have a look at this. It comes across. Gabriel sets it up for Diego on his left foot. Nah.
I think that's dribbled on the right-hand by Mike. I'm going to take you up on that again later. Let's see if another angle shows us. I think that hit both posts. I think it grazed the other post as it went past. Extraordinary. Well, they're getting closer, the Sailors, but they're yet to break down the Cheetahs here with 9 minutes to go before the break. Felipe penalised for the push on Yamazaki.
That was very smart play by Kaishu Yamazaki. Just gets his body in the way there, draws the contact from Georges Philippe.
They're taking this quickly as well. That's, oh, the referee's going to bring them back. I don't think that. Well, the referee usually have to ask the referee whether they can take it, Roshan, don't they? And he's brought Anik back when they thought they found a loophole. He was still talking, I think, to Diego Lopez, who was remonstrating. I'm loving Diego Lopez's new close-cut hairstyle. I think he might have been confused into thinking he's got to do national service now he's in Singapore with that haircut. We've already, fortunately, lost Shah Shahiran for the Stags to national service as he goes to do his country proud in the armed forces, as they now have it taken back a couple of yards. Anik, Afiq Noor.
A bit of a hilarious situation there between Afiq and Diego Lopez. Afiq trying to just get a couple of yards.
Diego Lopez
for his free kick, killing a little bit of time as well.
Well, Diego Lopez is never 10 yards away from him now. Afiq Noor drifts it in. Hassan Sunny comes and gathers well. And they always try and release it quickly here, and they try and release it quickly here with Gabriel Quack. Gabriel Quack, what a challenge that is from Afiq Noor. Tackle of the season so far. Goodness gracious me, he had to be spot on there because that's
what
a card.
What a hit in midfield.
Incredible.
Fantastic, stopping that counter-attack.
They've got to stop them again though. Diego Lopez, he's offside, Saifullah, and he doesn't believe he is on that far side. Well, it's, don't know where to look at the moment. It's not end to end, it's half to half.
Listen, what a game of football we've had so far. So have a look at this challenge. Boom, straight in.
I tell you something, if he times that wrong, if the studs are up, he could even be in trouble with red card. You've got to get that 100% spot on. He bought a Toto ticket there.
Great challenge. I don't mind that challenge at all from Afiq. It was such an important challenge to win as well. Hassan Sunny did really well to claim the ball. Looked to set them off on a quick counter-attack. Wonderful distribution. Bam, it gets stopped in midfield by Afiq.
Here's Ridwan to clear. Ridwan. Won by George Felipe. He doesn't miss many in the air. Saifullah, look at the run from Diego Lopez, who's almost playing as a second striker at the moment. Gabriel Quack's got pace to burn. He's going to give Anders Aplin another horror show here, I fancy. Gabriel Quack squares it. Oh, just behind Diego Lopez. Only as far out to Shardan. Saifullah looking to put in Plazibat, and Anders Aplin's got work to do here and has little choice but to stab it out for a throw to the Sailors with 6 and a bit minutes to go before the break as the Stags equalise at Jurong East. Tanjung United 1, Tampines Rovers 1. Both games level on this Saturday night. The first batch of games in the second round of the AIA Singapore Premier League season 2021. And here we've got an absorbing contest. No goals, Roshan, so far, but captivating stuff.
Really good game of football. I mean, Lion City Sailors looking to carve out and create opportunities. Good intensity to their play overall, just missing that goal from their game. There's always going to be a concern that Hougang will sneak one on a counter-attack or from a set-piece situation. And we've seen Hougang already ask a couple of questions, and they do win it on the quick transitions. But generally, Lion City Sailors have controlled things really well in these opening 40 minutes or so.
Well, he's given a couple of controversial calls either way now, really, Farhad Mohammed. I think arguably, we'll talk about it more at half-time, that challenge from Farhan Zulkifli for the first yellow, and then the handball for the second yellow that wasn't, will be the main talking point if it stays scoreless before the break. As Lino Tan sends a long ball, and they're onside here, and hustling strongly. But the throw goes the other way. But the Kaironizan's impressed me to this point. Roshan, he's putting himself about, not an easy task stepping into the shoes of Tomoyuki Doi, but he's doing a good job of it at the moment.
Yeah, he's putting in a good shift. A lone man up front.
Oh, here's Afiq. Pulls the trigger from Mamala, always rising high and above the bar of Hassan Sunny.
Yeah, just leaning back a little bit. Afiq as he hits that. Growing into the game a little bit more, Hougang. On that attacking front when they are in possession. And space opened up for a shot, why not? It's good work by Naufal. And just going back to Khairul Nizam there, and having to play as that lone front man, being always that outlet for Hougang on the counter-attack, having to show his physicality. It's done pretty well for them up front so far. Nice idea. It was Lion City Sailors on this occasion looking to hit the longer ball on the counter-attack.
Natalia Rio Nishiguchi got the opening goal for Tanjung United. Tampines have equalised, and here come Hougang. Shot blocked, and it needed a block as well from Amarul. And it goes behind for another corner. Hougang are getting back into this, Roshan. This is teeing up nicely for the second stanza.
Really good step up in the tempo of this game from Hougang. Again, they're starting to bite into challenges. Kaishu Yamazaki wins it very quickly off Georges Philippe. Causes a few issues with that shot at goal.
You highlighted Terakhir Adnan before the match, Roshan, and well, the two players you highlighted, one from either side, are having very influential starts, arguably. Two of the more brighter sparks offensively for both teams. Here is Hougang's latest corner effort. Drifted in, headed away by Stipe, who does a lot of unsung work, Stipe, tracking back to help out his defenders. Look at Diego Lopez trying to find some space down the left-hand side. The pass takes a deflection, and the referee will make sure, quite rightly, that they take it from the correct position. Just allowed to glide through the middle of the park there, Naikudin. Diego Lopez trying to find Saifullah. Maxat, well, ends up managing to keep the ball in. No, he doesn't. It's just gone out, so it'll be a throw to the Sailors deep in enemy territory. 0-0, a fair reflection on the game so far, or do you think the Sailors will be disappointed they don't
No,
lead,
I think
Roshan?
they'll be disappointed. They should be at least at the goal up in this game. With the opportunities that they have created, the openings that they've got. Still time to get that one goal, though.
Cross comes in. Who's that on the back stick? It's Glenn Ong. Can Glenn Ong get the shot away? Very nearly did. And again, it's a Hougang body that throws itself in the path of the shot. That's time Anders Aplin. What a fairy tale that would be for Glenn Ong if he could get his golden goal. Meanwhile, another impressive youngster, Norful Asman, who's had his moments in the first half, almost gets away there.
I think he's just being encouraged by his coach, Aurelio, there to make sure he goes hard into those 50-50 challenges and make sure he's first to it.
Gabriel Quack body check by Anders Aplin, who scurries away from the referee before Mr. Farhad Mohammed has the chance to consider going to his book, but they're involved in another physical confrontation. This is a physical game, and that's Hougang's approach here. They're making it physical, aren't they? They've come out with a game plan here to stay strong, to put their bodies on the line, and so far it's working. But the Sailors, as we've seen all season, can score goals in the blink of an eye. Here's Saifullah. 90 seconds to go for the break. Can Hougang go into the sheds level? Can they do more? Look at this run from Maxat. Goodness gracious me. Maxat's aware of the races. One touch too many, and then he bundles in to Georges Philippe, the two biggest men on the field, almost knocking each other from Hougang to Serangoon.
Listen, we can hear the contact from where we're seated in the stands here. Great run marauding run out of central defence by Maksat. Just a heavy touch here allows George Felipe to come across.
And just to put in that to context, we're 60 yards away. We were on the other side of the ground to that.
You can hear the contact on the two players, and it's not been picked up by pitchside Mike as well.
And that's with fans back in the stadium, you can still hear it. It's not like one of those here a pin drop things. Into the area. Afik Noor. Out wide to Terakhir. This is falling dangerously and into the path of Naufal Asman, whose shot's blocked. And as we approach the end of the first 45 minutes, it's Hougang that look to potentially have the last opportunity to break the deadlock going in at half-time.
Looking to get in the groove. Anik has done well to recover his position there. Just got lost under the flight of the cross a little bit. He did well just to recover, get himself goal side once again.
Well, all hands on deck for the Sailors defensively with what might be one of the final plays of the first half. There's going to be 2 minutes added on, so there will be a bit more time to play. This has all come all the way out to Idraki Adnan. And then the shot comes in and it's over the bar.
Well, limited to shots from range, really, Hougang. I think they've maybe had that one opportunity where Khairul Nizam was breaking through on the counter-attack, where he was actually able to get himself into the box there. But generally, it's been shots from range from this Hougang United side in this first half, which in terms of a chance quality perspective, you know, not the best. You know, when you look at the openings that Lion City Sailors have created, where they've taken their shots from, much better quality in terms of chances. They just haven't been able to find a finishing touch.
The thing that's impressed me most, obviously very hard to replace two players of the calibre of Gilberto and particularly Tomoyuki Doi, but Khairul Nizam and Idraki Adnan, again, not like-for-like replacements, but have stepped up here. Gabriel Quack, can the Sailors pinch the lead right before half-time? Gabriel Quack squares it to Stipe. Stipe with a clever pass to Glenong, gets it back to Gabriel Quack! Marvellous save from Ridwan! Well, for all the possession the Sailors have had, that's the first time really that Ridwan's been caught into emergency action. Some of the defenders have flung themselves in the way of shots, but that was a fine, fine save and wonderful work again from Glenong.
Good work by Glenong and Lion City Sailors there as Khairul Nizam gets bundled over. Pretty cynically, because he had to stop that potential counter-attack, yet Idraki on the overlap. It's a well-worked move by Lion City Sailors once again. Glenong, he's been very clever, very efficient with how he's used the ball, that young man. Spots Gabriel Quack in a bit of space on the edge of the box. It's unfortunately plenty of power behind that strike, but it's straight down the middle. Ridwan's got himself well situated. Needs to hit the corners in that position there.
So this will be the final play of the first half. We're going to go into the sheds goalless, and I'm going through the history books for this season. Obviously, they went into the sheds goalless at Tanjung Pagar, didn't they, at Jurong East, and won 5-0 in the second half. But Hougang, I think, will be a tougher nut to crack in the second stanza, as Lionel Tan gets it back to Ridwan, and referee Farhad Mohammed will blow for an entertaining but goalless first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
The Lion City Sailors are going to make it 3 straight wins, have been frustrated. They've had the better of it. They forced a fine save out of Ridwan late on from Gabriel Quack. The big talking point, arguably, Farhan Zulkifli avoiding a red for what looked a blatant handball just moments after he'd been shown a yellow for a bad foul on
I think it was Diego Lopez that Saifullah
was the foul, and then Diego Lopez with the handball. Plenty for Washington and myself to get stuck into. We'll bring you a full half-time show when we return. And just to confirm, at half-time at Jurong East, currently Tanjung Pagar United 1, Tampines Rovers 1. Stay with us. Welcome back live to the Hougang Stadium, Saturday night, AIA Singapore Premier League football. Goalless at the break between Hougang and the Lion City Sailors, but plenty of talking points and a relatively wide open game, Rush, and it's been entertaining. It has been entertaining, and again, it's credit to Lion City Sailors with the tempo and the intensity that they've brought into this one, forcing lots of errors, creating opportunities with their own passing and movement. But the first chance really for Hougang United, I call it a half chance, simple enough save from Hassan Sani in the end, coming from down that left-hand side. Naufal Asman with a little bit of space to work with in that position. Just taking it infield, but really not enough there to really trouble Hassan Sani in goal. Yeah, for both teams, there was some promising build-up play, but it was really just the final application that was missing. Yeah. It was only really in the last kick of the first half that Ridwan was forced to make a meaningful save, so to speak. There's Shadhan's free kick that went into the roof of the net. His delivery from set pieces hasn't necessarily been that consistent. This was really promising for Hougang Roshan. Yeah, this is good work by Khairul Nizam, and then getting that supporting run from Idraki, which is very important. Just the opportunity opening up for him. He just couldn't quite get enough. Not that contact that he would have liked there. Dribbles into Hassan Sani for a nice enough save. But it's more those opportunities in these counter-attacking situations that Hougang were looking at least at 35 minutes of that first half or so. Gabriel Kwak was finding lots and lots of joy going up in those one-on-ones against Anders Zaplin. So always looking to try and get it on his left foot. Again, an opportunity opens up, but have a look at Hougang throwing bodies there in front of shots coming in. And that's what they did really well in this first half. They put their bodies on the line. Yes, there were openings, there were opportunities, but with how deep Hougang were defending at times, there were enough bodies in there just to cause a few issues and block some of those shots. Yeah, Stipe Plazibet involved there. He's had, by his standards, a relatively quiet half. That was Diego Lopez. I'm convinced he hit both posts. You're saying only one. I think he hit both posts with that shot. His reaction just goes to show. I think at the time they thought that was 1-0. Yeah, well, whatever it is. This is the angle. Again, look, this is the angle. Both posts. Whatever it is, again, Patrick, it's whatever it is, Patrick, even if you're right, the most important thing, the only thing Lion City Sailors and their fans will be caring about is the fact that it didn't end up in the back of the net, and I think they deserved the goal from that first half just because of the opportunities that they've created. Again, wonderful work there, nice and patient, just waiting for that opening. Diego Lopez really should have finished that, and then here, plenty of power behind his strike from Gabriel here, but it's straight down the middle, straight down Ridwan's throat, and it's a simple enough save in the end. And the crucial thing about that Gabriel Kwak chance for me is that if you're playing it against a team that are not up for the Sailors, they won't be reacting first. Yeah. That time, it was the Hougang defence that reacted quicker than the Lion City Sailors to the rebound. And look at that. Now, I mean, we talked about this midway through the half. 7 shots apiece. Incredibly, Hougang with more shots on target. Forget that. I know, but that comes back to an argument I had with a very dear friend of mine, the former England and Spurs man, Gary Stevens, as to whether a shot that hits the post is on target. Of course, it's off target. It's off target. It's off target. But it's also about shot quality, Patrick. Now, we must have a look at the other controversy, because this was where Farhan Zulkifli is very lucky to still be on the field. He fouled Saifullah Akbar there, and in almost identical circumstances, not 10 minutes later, he was up against Diego Lopez. There's no question, we agree that's a yellow card. He basically pulled him back. You can't do that. It was an early yellow inside the first 15 minutes, and then here, Diego Lopez, we've got to be quick on this, Roshan, so I'll leave it to you. It should be a second yellow and a red, as simple as that. Yes, because we've got to be quick. I've said it in commentary, it has to be a second yellow, has to be a red card there. He's basically been beaten by Diego Lopez. Have a look at this. He lies down, his hand comes out. It has to be a second yellow. He's got away with that one. And as we said about referee Farhad, it happens all over the world, so it's not a criticism of Singapore referees. Stay with us when we come back the second half live. Can the Sailors break down the Cheetahs? You'll find out live next.
AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge, with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get on to AIA Vitality today, because your health is every choice you make.
Welcome back live to the Hougang Stadium. Goalless here, but there was late drama at the end of the first half at Jurong East, where I can tell you Tanjung United led 1-0 through Rio Nishiguchi. But now the Stags with goals in the 38th minute, first of the season for Armin Bosniak, and a first of the season for 43-year-old Daniel Bennett. So old, Roshan used to play with him. 4 minutes into time added on at the end of the first half. The Stags have turned with that one round as we look at pictures of the fans back inside the Hougang Stadium for the first time this season. A quick word on that score, because Tanjung United, I think they're going to give some teams some problems, but the Stags have responded well, and Armin with his first goal in Singapore football. And Dan Bennett, how does he keep going? I get out of breath walking up the stairs.
It's a credit to him, and the fact that he's been able to play for as long as he has, getting a goal in that game as well. Wonderful response by Tampines Rovers. It's a game that they have to win. Look, against sides towards the bottom of the table, those are games, if you want to win the title, must-win matches, and it was important that they responded to going a goal down.
Remember, Tampines came here and lost 5-1 with Bahaki showing red. It's 0-0 here. There is a change at half-time. I can see Song Yong is coming on now. You've been 100% with the substitutions this season. Who do you think Song replaces?
Well, I'm looking at the team, and I think it's probably going to be Glenn Ong that he takes off the pitch, which is, I don't think it's any reflection of Glenn Ong and the quality that he's shown, because he's had a good game, he's had a good half, but it's just an opportunity for them to get that little bit of quality, extra quality and experience on the pitch there with the Song Yong coming in. And
this is interesting because Shahril Ishak's coming on as well. So Shahril Ishak, the preferred striking option rather than the not 100% fit Tomoyuki Doi. Interesting there. Would you maybe look at replacing Anik out of the two youngsters for the Lions City Sailors? Glenn Ong looked slightly more at home, or do you think he's going to reshape the midfield with withdrawing Glenn and bringing Song on?
Yeah, it's just a like-for-like change in the sense of a central midfielder coming in for another central midfielder.
This isn't a like-for-like change for Hougang, though, isn't it? Fabian Kwok off and Shahril Ishak on. That seems to have a shade of attack-mindedness about it.
It will have a bit more of an impact in those attacking positions. Shahril, a bit more nous in those areas, will allow them to keep the ball a little bit better as well in central midfield, which is going to be important for them with the pressing that we've seen from the Lion City Sailors. They need people in there who can hang on to it for long enough for them to get players free in those counter-attacking situations.
And goal-scoring threats abound, obviously. I'm sure Glenn Ong will go on to be a goal-scoring threat for the Lion City Sailors, but you know what you get with Song Yong. He scored 9 goals last season, joint third top scorer in the division with Boris Kapitovic, so they've added some extra firepower with that change. So goalless at half-time. I don't think many people saw that coming, and I think the general consensus is we will get some goals. But when and for who?
Yeah. It certainly looked, from the evidence of that first half, that it will be the Lion City Sailors. Again, you look at those halftime stats and they say shots and shots on target, and Hougang at 7 shots, same as the Lion City Sailors, 7 shots.
I don't believe it, do you?
2 on target for Hougang. But again, it has to be about the chance quality, the shot quality. So forget about, you know, those numbers there, because if you're shooting from far out, it's unlikely to really trouble. XG.
XG.
Yeah,
I know you love.
I know you love.
What does it stand for? What's
expected goals?
Expected goals.
Yeah.
Well, surely it should be EXG then. I'm being obtuse.
I know you absolutely love stuff like that, Patrick.
I'm being obtuse.
And that's why I like to get under your skin a little bit.
And you do it on a regular basis. God, here we go. No, it's all about the debate, and that's what we encourage you to do. I don't want to hear any negativity. You can comment away on Facebook, but let's all get behind Singapore football this season. It's all about having fun and enjoying the game, and Roshan and myself certainly do that. Roshan, of course, with his vast experiences, a former SPL player and an AFC ambassador now, a big part of the AFC competitions upcoming, of course, for the Lion City Sailors. There's talk potentially of a redraw, I'm hearing, in those AFC Cup groups. Group H at the moment for the Sailors with Saigon and Kedah, and 1 TBC, Geylang representing Singapore in Group I, with Shan of Myanmar, Terengganu of Malaysia, and Kaya of the Philippines. There's an early whistle and a very early second half card that's being applauded by the Lion City Sailor contingent in front of me for Terakhir Adnan, who's now on a tightrope.
Yeah, Terakhir, you know, really done well by Nakyuddin there, just to skip past the challenge of Terakhir. Felt like he was forced to give away a foul there, picking up a yellow.
So 2 yellow cards in the game now, both shown to Hougang. Meanwhile, Saifullah! It's a Terakhir again. No, sorry, not a Terakhir, Farhan Zulkifli again. And I think that time, Farhan Zulkifli would have been harshly treated if the free kick had been conceded.
Yeah, it was just a situation that Saifullah just lost track of the ball a little bit, allowed Farhan to get himself in there.
Tell you something I've just seen out of your camera shot. The first time I've seen it all season, Vidmar visibly frustrated. That is the first time I've seen Aurelio Vidmar angry. Can they put a smile on his face now? Diego Lopez, Saifullah, well again, they're not on the same channel in that passage of play, Stipe and Diego Lopez. Lionel Tan getting out from the back through Maxat, who goes long and finds a player as well, and over the top, looking for the run. Terakhir Adnan, who's now on a yellow card, so he's got to be careful here. Well, bearing in mind he'd just been booked, that tackle had to be spot on, Roshan.
He stood up to that challenge well, Terakhir. But again, just very quickly, the moment it went out to Maxat, pressure was applied. Just straight ball down the middle. Shari looking to very quickly get it in behind that Lion City Sailors defense for Terakhir to go and chase. Didn't get him involved enough, I thought, in that first half of the game. Could try and change that in this second.
Nakyuddin with the throw. Stipe making a nuisance. Well, the acrobatic clearance attempt from Maxet went badly wrong. He's bailed out by Lionel Tan, and then that's somewhat of a missed opportunity for Terakhir Adnan to stop that going out for a throw. So just as they did in the first half, the Sailors starting to build up some possession and territorial momentum. But they haven't translated any of that to a goal. And in pure statistics, just 1 shot on target, which was that effort saved by Ridwan from Gabriel Quack. So we talked about Stipe having scored in 6 consecutive matches. You have to go back, and I'm just doing my checking on this. The last time I think that, oh, there's a decision that goes the Sailors' way that Hougang don't like. I'm trying to cast my mind back. I think the last time the Sailors didn't score a goal, was it in that 4-0 defeat against Tampines? I think that's when it was, and that was back before the COVID suspension last season. They're usually so reliable for a goal.
I'm just laughing because I think Clement actually misunderstood why the referee had actually blown for that infringement. There was because of foul throw, not because there was any sort of legal attempt to try and win the ball.
Clever header by Diego Lopez. Stipe plays about seeing the runner on the far side. Gabriel Quack can control it. Gabriel Quack, Ridwan does really well. Blocks it at the first and gathers it on the second.
That first touch was important from Gabriel, just to set himself up for an opportunity to have a crack at goal. Big switch there. Out onto the right-hand side, just as it breaks into Stipe Plazibat to play this ball. Really well flighted. You need to be closer to him, perhaps, that first touch. Allow Ridwan that opportunity to come out and close the angle very quickly.
Just confirming it's over a year since the Lion City Sailors were held scoreless in that game at our Tampines Sub when they lost 4-0 to Tampines Rovers. All the Stags goals coming in the second half here. It takes something special to stop the Lion City Sailors from scoring. Stipe might come to Saifullah. Narrow angle, Stipe! He's headed over the bar.
Again, another opening, another opportunity. Makes its way all the way through to Saifullah, and he's done very well just to keep it in play. Get it back across to Stipe Plazibat. Angle is tight. He can't do much with it. It's a good decision not to go for goal, Saifullah, but to set up Plazibat for that header. Just gets caught underneath it.
Well, I didn't think we'd see many short goal kick routines from Hougang, and they flirted with the idea, but then think better of it. Ridwan will go long and has a little adjustment with the goal kick as well. There's anything wrong with that. You can change and pick up the ball and put it back down again, particularly if the surface is cutting up, which I think, as you pinpointed in the first half, Roshan, it's certainly cutting up in a few of the areas. Now, that's what you call a George Felipe header, when about 50 yards off the head of the big Brazilian, but it's eventually ended up back with Hougang. That's an attempted pass by Farhan Zulkifli that's gathered by Hassan Sunny, and here's their quick release with Diego Lopez having empty space in front of him. Diego Lopez, Gabriel Quack to his right, Stipe waits in the middle, Gabriel Quack cuts inside, looks for the option, and he was trying to get it to Diego Lopez on the return, but has to make do with Sogol Yong. Now this is Sogol Yong's first chance to demonstrate what he can do coming off the bench in the second half. Gabriel Quack gets it through, and again they're frustrated, and there's a running over the top. Kyronism's already shown he's pacey, and was that handball by Anik?
No, it wasn't.
Plays on.
Really well defended.
I thought from this angle, we're about 50 yards away, it might have been handball in a similar fashion to Farhan Zulkifli, but Roshan's called it correctly. Just a superb bit of defending by this youngster, only 18 years of age. What a start he's having. Diego Lopez. Lopez gets it out wide right, cross comes in, Felipe! Oh, and just off the turf and over the bar, but it seemed to go in slow motion for a minute. I thought it might bamboozle Ridwan, Roshan, right?
Good work down the right-hand side by Gabriel. Again, just trying to make it unpredictable in terms of, you're thinking he's going to go on his left foot, he's going to go on his right, uses his right on this occasion, sends in a pretty decent cross for George Felipe to go and attack. Heads it down, which is what you want, but just unfortunate with the bounce of the ball there.
Lionel Tan, he's taking a liberty with that pass, and he's just thrown possession back to the blue shirts. Now Vidmar got involved there, got them the ball back quickly. I think the manager wants a response here, otherwise he might be going to his illustrious bench. Don't be surprised if we see Adam Swandy and or Faris Ramley if this carries on for the next 6 or 7 minutes. Sogol Yong, Lopez wants this. Sogol Yong trying to find a pathway for the passes. The impressive Anik Roshan, who's made that sensational tackle to stop Kyra Nizam in his tracks. Oh, nice dart inside. Sogol Yong gets it to Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez squares it. Pull back Saifullah. Can he pull the trigger? He gets it back to Gabriel Quack. Another chance goes a begging, and Afik Noor should be able to get it clear. That's an ambitious turn from Norful Asman, and the throw will go to the Lion City Sailors. Being played at a good pace, this, Roshan, isn't it?
Really good intensity. Nice tempo to this match. We had that in the first half as well. And it's great to see the start of this second. And Lion City Sailors, just notice how patient they are in those attacking positions. They're not rushing attacks. They're quite happy to wait. Pass the ball around, look for that opportunity where it's a high-quality chance that opens up for them. They've created a few good openings here. Just haven't been able to find that finishing touch just yet.
Naikudin with the throw. They're having a little bit of a nibble at Stipe there. And they'll get another corner. They're 5th of the contest now. So, can one of these teams make their set pieces count? We've had 8 in total, and both sides have had free kicks in dangerous positions adjacent to the area as well. Shardan, Clement Teo on the touchline, barking out set-piece defensive instructions. Shardan has the close option of Saifullah, who's being followed everywhere he goes by the tightrope walking Farhan Zulkifli. It's a congested 6-yard box there. Some big bodies in the mix. Ridwan spills it! And it's behind for a goal kick.
He's put under pressure there, Ridwan. Again, it's a much better delivery from the set piece, from the corner. Whipped in with plenty of pace. Nice dip just in there. He's actually collided with his own defender. Ridwan Barudin. Might be Lionel actually there. Results in him not being able to get a clean catch out of it. Enough bodies in front of Amirul. I think it should have been a corner though. Does seem to have taken a touch off Ridwan.
Hougang. Every time it looks like the Lion City Sailors are getting on top in this game, they do go up the other end and create something, but they've got more defending to do here. Saifullah! What a tackle that is by Maxat. Diego Lopez picks it up. That had to be spot on that tackle, otherwise it was penalty time. And now it's bundled out for a throw. We've seen some wonderful tackling in this game.
We have players throwing their bodies in front of the ball there. Again, that was really good work by Lion City Sailors though. Amirul Adli stepping up from defense, stopping a counter attack and setting Lion City Sailors on their way to an opening of their own.
Sung Yong's arrival appears to have given Diego Lopez to get even more further forward. He's almost playing, well, as he wears, in that number 10 role really now. Behind Saifullah, who's in a very advanced role as well. They are certainly pushing forward. I don't think Aurelio Vidmar will be happy with the point here. In fact, I know he won't be, regardless of what he says. Anik Roshan, oh, Sung Yong's through!
Well
and he's
defended.
muscled out of it by Maxat again.
That's well defended by Maxat. Very quickly snuffing out that opportunity for Song.
Well,
it looked like space had opened up for him after good work by Anik Roshan. And Maxat just too easy.
I'm being told
too strong. Arm across.
Noufal Azman is about to be replaced by Nazrul Nazari. So Nazrul about to enter the fray. That'll be the second of Hougang's permitted 3 changes. Get Roshan's thoughts on that in a minute as Clementio is up in his arms at the 4th official about something again there. George Felipe plays it out to Saifullah. On the turn, Saifullah gets caught out there. There's 3 on shirts around him, and somehow Saifullah still comes away with it. That was astonishing. And because there were 3 on shirts around Saifullah, there's space out wide for Gabriel Quack. Diego Lopez and Plazovac waits in the middle. Gabriel Quack, will he pull the trigger? Gabriel Quack to Sung Yong, back to Quack, and again, maybe one pass too many. And it breaks down quite quickly, but what a run from Saifullah. Gliding through 3 Hougang shirts, Roshan.
Yeah, showing some good resistance against that pressing there just to break free. 3 Hougang midfielders, as you mentioned earlier, opened the pitch up for Lion City Sailors. Eventually, Gabriel just getting crowded out.
Diego Lopez to Saifullah again. Oh, he's fed it through, and he's fed it through nicely as well. Comes to Naikudin. Saifullah, can Saifullah let go? Very, very nearly crept in on the near post of Ridwan, but it's behind as this change comes. Talk us through this one. Roshan as Noufal Azman is replaced by Nazrul Nazari.
Yeah, what a player to be able to bring on. Singaporean international Nazrul Nazari, very direct, very pacey. You're talking about looking for opportunities on the counter attack. It's a good option to bring on off the bench. We'll be looking to just attack those spaces in behind Anik. Here's Saifullah linking up with Nakiuddin on his left-hand side once again. Nothing for him in the box, decides to go. I'm going to try and create an opportunity of my own.
Credit to Ridwan there, because I think he had that covered, didn't he, and saw it was going into his side netting.
Towards the near post. So just thinking back to that goal that Saifullah scored against Balestier, I think it was. Similar sort of situation on that left-hand side, drifted into the box. On that occasion, he chose to go towards the far post.
Not this time, unfortunately, for the Lion City Sailors fans. That was an ambitious backflip from a Terakhir. And oh, George Felipe. Goodness gracious me, he'd already just pushed poor old Sharalish out of the way as if he wasn't standing there. They're not happy again with another decision as the throw goes the way of the Lion City Sailors. Business picking up here, Sung Yong, who's getting more action down the middle for the Sailors since his introduction, but he's muscled out the ball and it's another free kick, and it's starting to heat up here. They're aghast, Hougang, at some of these decisions. Are they justified, or are they just moaning for moaning's
Well, they're starting
sake?
to feel lots of things going against them now. They've had a big one go for them in that first half with Farhan Zulkifli, and that second yellow that wasn't given. I didn't think there was too much in there from Maxat. Just the way that he goes in, plenty of aggression.
Well, Plazibat looks like he's teeing this up. Chardin would usually be the go-to guy. And of course, Chardin scored a perler of a free kick against Balestier. But this is the kind of range where maybe Plazibat fancies a pile driver. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, orange shirts in a wall. Make that only 4. And Plazibat is shaping up here. He wouldn't be a decoy, because if he wasn't going to hit it, he'd be in the area trying to get in the end of any scraps. Plazibat! Over the bar. Just not been really as, what's the word? efficient in front of goal tonight, the Lion City Sailors. Contrast that to what they did to Geylang when, in not an evenly matched game, but a game that wasn't an 8-0. They took every chance that came their way. Similarly against Balestier, they punished Balestier when they needed to be punished here. I mean, is it credit to Hougang for the way they're set up defensively? Because I suppose they are reducing them to the most part with shots on or around the edge of the area.
Well, there's two sides to it, right? One is Hougang and the credit that they deserve for putting bodies on the line and throwing them in front of shots. But the Lion City Sailors, with the openings that they've created, more than enough to get themselves a goal. So they've been let down by a little bit of poor finishing of their own. Just still looking for that breakthrough here. You just feel it will be coming for them. They're so patient with how they try and work these opportunities. Although it's counter-attacking situations that they've got to be wary of.
Lovely bit of skill and passage of play from Anders Apton, who's had a quiet game to this point and managed to win the free kick after the referee played a reasonable enough advantage and saw none forthcoming. He's 9 or 10. Maxat goes long. It's over everyone. Sharalishak will give chase here. Felipe gets it back to Hassan Sunny. Sharalishak doesn't really close him down that well. Maxat much improved, but that header straight to Song Woo-yong. And look at Diego Lopez's run. If they can time the pass correctly, it's going to be Placibat over the top to Diego Lopez, but too much on it. And the weight of the final pass at times has been an issue for the Lion City Sailors again tonight. Do you put that once again down to the change of surface to an extent?
Yeah, again, it's something to sort of get adjusted to. You can see, you know, with the thickness of the grass here, you're just thinking that you've got to put a little bit more strength, a little bit more weight behind your pass. How can you affect your judgment of the weight of the pass on the surface here?
George Flipper's head is made of granite. Every time he has the ball, it seems to launch into orbit. Here's Shardan. I can tell you Tanjung Bagala have equalised against Tampines. Jaguars 2, Stags 2. Here's Song Woo-yong. Diego Lopez is in, but he's offside. It won't count. The flag is up. This won't count. Which is just as well, because Lopez couldn't finish it anyway. Right decision.
Again, carving their way through the middle. Lion City Sailors once more. Let's have a look at it from this angle. It looks like he's onside, you know.
And might be playing him on that far side.
It looked to me like he was onside there. But you got to go with what the referees on the pitch have decided.
What about that scoreline from Jurong East? Tanjung Bagala United 2, Tampines Rovers 2. They've been involved in some cracking games this season. The Jaguars, as indeed of Tampines, as the Sailors caught offside for the third time. That was well won in the air by Amaru. It looked like he was going to come up second best there. Shardan's got it with some space in front of him. Diego Lopez. Only a matter of time before maybe he unlocks this Hougang defence. Here's Saifula. Diego Lopez wants it back, but Saifula's got work to do. He's shrugged off one now, Farhan Zulkifli. And he's got the better of Farhan Zulkifli as well, but the pass goes to an orange and black shirt, not a blue one. Nice work in playing it out from the back by Kaishu Yamazaki. And now opening up his legs is Idraki Adnan, who slips at an inopportune moment, and Hassan Sunny can gather. Pitch is starting to cut up quite badly, Roshan, now as well.
Yeah. You know, this used to be one of the best pitches in Singapore. I remember when I was playing years ago now. This was a really brilliant surface to play on. That's a credit to the groundsman that they used to have.
Saifula finds Shardan. Well covered back by Maxat, who belts it clear, but that's into empty space, and it's picked up by Song Woo-yong. Song Woo-yong finds Diego Lopez. Lopez to Gabriel Quack. He's trying to find Anik Roshan. He may still find Anik Roshan. Oh, for a split second there. I thought Ridwan was going to get caught out, but it was safe. Here's one for you. As the change is on the way, Faris Ramli will be introduced. Here's one for you. We talk about the turf services. Obviously, this is a very special and charismatic stadium, Hougang. Would you be in favour of the league being played in one or maybe two centralised venues, the likes of Channambasar, the likes of our Tampines?
Nah, I mean, it loses a lot, doesn't it? I mean, you come out here to Hougang, you're in the heartlands, and you've got your supporters who are able to come to the stadiums, and you've got that home ground feel as well, at least with Hougang United here. Saifullah gets replaced by Faris Ramli.
He's been one of their better players. He's worked incredibly hard, so I suppose it's a bit of a change of formation to an extent, that as well. Faris Ramli, a very skillful player, but not the kind of tricky wingster that you get with Saifullah in the energy. But Faris Ramli got a bit of a point to prove, Faris Ramli coming back to Singapore football, hasn't he? And he's obviously not getting much game time as well. So if he was to get the breakthrough here, that would prove the point.
He's having to make do with an impact sub role with Lion City Sailors so far. Not getting as many minutes as he would have liked, and I think that's one of the issues as well with with the squad, the great squad that they've got, options on the bench just to try and change things. It's also about managing the expectations of some of these players, keeping the squad happy overall, making sure you're able to give minutes. Because a player of Faris Ramli's quality, you know, it's the kind of guy who starts every match for everyone else in the league, I would think.
You could say that about the entire
you could.
Solu Young, Adam Swandi, Hafiz Noor.
Couldn't you?
Tajeli Salamat can't get a game at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's, I suppose, more to do with the under-23 rule with Tajeli more than anything else in his defence. Incidentally, pop quiz. You ready? When was the last 0-0 draw in the AIA Singapore Premier League? We were there.
Oh, Albrecht's Balestier.
Yes.
Yeah. I just feel like the goals that we've seen in the league so far,
it feels like years ago, doesn't it, that 0-0 draw? And by the way, like this game, that wasn't a bad contest either. This is absorbing. In fact, I should say the quality of that...
That was a very good game, by the way, Patrick.
Yeah, the quality of that Albrecht's Balestier game is actually probably better than the game we're watching here, but this is nonetheless very absorbing because, again, and I know it's not a narrative, I may be a bit sensationalist with my approach sometimes, Russian, you're far more professorial in your approach to the game, but if they were not to win here at the Lion City Sailors and Albrecht's to win tomorrow, the gap is extended again.
Yep.
And I asked the question, I know you hate me asking you who's going to win the league, but again, we're not far off now, a couple of weeks away from the halfway mark. So it becomes a question, if the Lion City Sailors don't win the league this season, it's a disappointment for them, correct?
I would think so, and I think when you talk to some of these players as well, it's always going into games. The expectation is you have to win your matches, just because of the investment that's gone in. And the quality of players that they have overall in the squad. So again,
comes with the territory, right?
Exactly, and that's why it's quite right that we're asking questions about it, and we're saying, you know, if they don't win the league, it's a failure and it should be treated so. And I agree. I mean, you look at across the league, as this cross comes in, there's no one that can compete in terms of the squad. We speak about players on the bench who would be starting in the first 11 any other club in this competition, so they should be. And in the build-up to this game, I spoke about the fact that, you know, they've hammered the teams in the top four, in the bottom four, I should say. It's against the top four that they've struggled so far to really win these matches, and it's got to start here against this Hougang side.
First chance for Faris Ramli to run the Hougang defence, and another killer tackle from Maxa.
He's been solid.
He has been immense. Some of these sliding challenges that have come in on this skiddy service at Hougang have been sensational from both sides. George Felipe throwing himself around. Maxat, we saw that wonderful challenge from Afiq Noor as well.
So Maksat doing well there just to make sure he was close to Farhan in that one-on-one, making sure that if Farhan did get beaten in that space, he could come across and cover quickly, which he did.
Terakhir Adnan with a beautiful release, but then miscontrolled by Shawal Ishak, and George Felipe can start probing into enemy territory. Gap starting to appear as limbs start to get weary. Diego Lopez out wide looking for Faris Ramli, and he's got some empty space in front of him as well. It's closed down quickly though by Terakhir Adnan, who'll concede the corner, and under the circumstances probably relatively happy to do so, because 6 corners in, the Lion City Sailors, whose defence at set pieces have been called into question from corners, haven't really stretched Hougang from those 6 corner balls.
Yeah, deliveries have been better, to Shadhan's credit. He's put in a couple of dangerous ones. We almost saw Amirul take advantage of a slip-up by Ridwan earlier.
Well, is it going to be lucky number 6 for the Lion City Sailors? Not a delivery like that.
I just said his deliveries have been better, and then he goes and puts one that can't beat the first man.
That's the cardinal sin with corner kicks. You've got to get past the man on the post, right?
Yeah.
And a couple of times I've not done that. Diego Lopez!
Oh, what a goal!
Well, a week after Gabriel Quack scores a Puskas contender, Diego Lopez with his 4th goal of the season has hit an absolute worldie. Goodness gracious me. Diego Lopez, absolutely no chance. Ridwan, Roshan Rai, dissect that. He's created that goal and scored it out of nothing.
Well,
Faris Ramli with the throw, and what about that?
That's why you pay the big bucks, for that quality, for that individual brilliance. He's struggling to find that finishing touch, and he just loops that one into the far corner. Incredible technique on that strike by Diego Lopez. They've gotten the breakthrough now. It's Hougang that have to open up. They've got to chase this. And what perfect timing as well, just before the drinks break.
Well, gives us a chance to look at it a couple of times again, and I won't be complaining about that. Diego Lopez hat-trick against Geylang, and he's got the breakthrough go-ahead goal here with 21 minutes to go, and that will set up a final 20 minutes that should be absolutely fascinating. We'll have another look at that goal in just a moment. I can tell you 2-2 Tanjung Pagar Tampines Rovers at Jurong East, and all of a sudden the Lion City Sailors fans are in full voice.
Well, individual moment of quality from Diego Lopez. You have a look at that. You've got bodies in there. Even Maksat's going, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? It's just brilliant. It's special. It's an incredible finish from the $3 million man.
Nothing you can do about the finish. You could argue maybe he's given too much space.
I mean, look, listen. We can criticize him. We can talk about how he needs to close down the shot. But why be negative about it? It's a brilliant shot at goal. Sure, there's that aspect of the game. He could have closed him down a little bit quicker. But I mean, for him to even sort of improvise and then have the technique to execute there, Patrick, I think we've got to focus on that positive element to that.
By all means, I'm just asking the question. When Faris Ramli takes the throw in the final third, there is no Hougang player near Diego Lopez, and he has far too much time and space. You cannot take anything away from the finish. It's a world-class finish, but defensively, you're not telling me Clement Teo won't be a little disappointed at the time and space, bearing in mind how tight and how effective they've been defensively in this game so far. And the way they were playing Hougang, Lion City Sailors has been increasingly reduced to pot shots, and as it turned out, it's taken a moment of magic to break the deadlock. Well,
listen, you can look at both sides of it in a game. Any game of football, you've got that defensive aspect to it, and then you've got the attacking play.
Diego Lopez, Faris Ramli's in space if he can take this on a good touch. Faris Ramli into the area. He needs support here. Stipo's over on the far post. Tries to put it back to Lopez and just miscues, and Hougang will be able to get it away. Well, twisting and turning, Terakhir Adnan.
He just gets crowded out there. You see Nakiuddin quick to come and close down, and then gets that defensive support from Diego Lopez.
As things stand, incidentally, the Lion City Sailors are top of the league as it stands, with Albrechts playing their game in hand tomorrow. Two big games coming away tomorrow. Talking about that 0-0 draw, it's the rematch of that, Balestier Albrechts tomorrow. Marko Krajovic did a tactical number on Keiji Shigatomi at Jurong East a couple of weeks back.
The tactical number was sitting back in a very deep 4-4-2.
What I liked about Marco's tactics there, and he was very open about it before the game, he had Zuzu on the bench. He said, I'm going to try and take up some pressure, and then just when they're starting to get frustrated, throw one of your star men on to try and nick it in the final 20 minutes, and it very nearly worked. Maksat, it's a loose pass. Lopez, oh, that's going to be naughty, and he's going to be off here, surely. Well, he's already escaped once. He can't escape again, surely. It's Maksat. Apologies. I thought it was Farhan Zulkifli with the challenge. It's Maksat that he's having a word with. I thought if that was Farhan Zulkifli, he surely would have had to go. Lopez takes it quickly. Faris Ramli. Back to Diego Lopez. Back to Faris Ramli. Second goal, and this game's over, you feel, Roshan?
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. And I think it's the Sailors who do deserve that lead, just because of how they've imposed themselves on this Hougang United side, and they're still going here, still applying the pressure. There's no let-up. Good consistency in this game. Generally, they've had very good control of this match.
It's Stipe, who's put down by Anders Aplin. Anders, of course, had a spell in Japan for his footballing education, then made the move from Geylang to Hougang. A man you associate with the national team as the change is coming. They're throwing on leading goal scorer in the league, Tomoyuki Doi, but will he be coming on with them trailing by 1 or 2 because Diego Lopez is at it again. Diego Lopez gets it through to Gabriel Quack. Stipe waits, and Quack goes for goal, and Ridwan does well to come out and block it.
Good goalkeeping by Ridwan. Again, it's how swiftly Lion City Sailors move the ball through the center of the park, between the lines. Well, just upping the tempo, going through the gears, and it's something that Hougang haven't been able to deal with in the second half. Angle is against Gabriel here. Ridwan's got to come out. Just make sure he covers that far post there, which is what Gabriel's looking to try and hit.
Right now, Tomoyuki Doi, who picked up a groin injury in the week, which meant he couldn't start, but cometh the hour, cometh the men. Needs must, with 17 minutes to go, can Tomoyuki Doi produce a moment of magic to get Hougang back in this game, like Diego Lopez produced a moment of magic to get the Sailors in front?
Listen, there's no doubt he's a quality player to bring on. Half a chance, his finishing has been exquisite. It's a touchdown, 11 goals, Patrick, from an XG of 4.1. But listen, is it sort of worth the risk here? We'll find out. There's heavy strapping on his leg. You know, if he's not.
Well, funny you should say that. Stipe Plazibat took a chance when he was injured at the end of last season when he was trying to confirm he had the golden boot, which he ended up winning, and he hobbled off after 15 minutes when he started the game, and he probably shouldn't have done. I think if you're Clement Teo, listen, I've said this is an argument we have repeatedly. I don't think anyone appreciates just how short the season is. It's only 21 games. This is the 8th game of the season, and why not give the superstar a go? Meanwhile, they might not need him because Sharon Ishak's into the area. Well, got under that. Good ball across the face of goal, but not towards Tomoyuki Doi. Be interesting to see that, Roshan. It's fine margins, because I see your point. If he was to get injured and miss another month, it could be
exactly. I mean, listen. He knows himself what the injury situation is. The coaching staff will know just how serious that injury is. They obviously feel they can gamble a little bit. But I'll tell you what, his left leg is heavily strapped there. It's under his shorts, and you can see it. And his movement on the pitch, as he was running on, didn't look very comfortable. So it's a big gamble. He comes away with a goal, he'd steal a point here, maybe even a win.
This is extraordinary. Speaking of injuries, am I seeing right that Song Yong is coming off here? So Song Yong is going to be replaced. And
well, that's an interesting one.
Very much is.
Was the plan to... He picked up a bit of an injury, and that's why he's coming off.
Well, I can only imagine. The stretch is actually out on the field at the moment. A little bit of confusion. They've only got 10 players on at the minute, so I'm assuming... It's not Song on the deck, is it? No, it's... Yes, it is Song on the deck.
Yeah, well, it's Song is coming off
anyway. He
anyway.
must have pulled a muscle. There's an issue there, so they've not wasted any time in calling upon the services of Adam Swandy, who, again, how bad you have to feel for Adam Swandy with all his quality as we get a look at Tomoyuki Doi.
Yeah, he just felt something as he cleared that Song. He was advised to just go down. So they kicked the ball out of play for a change.
You bring Song Yong in the second half to change the game. The Samsung gets injured, and then you could bring on Adam Swandy. Life's not fair. Swandy, and we hope Song Yong will be okay. Love seeing Adam Swandy. One of my favourite things in Singapore football is watching that dual threat. Quack down one flank, Swandy down the other. And bearing in mind, Farhan Zulkifli and Anders Zaplin have had a torrid night already. Their night could be about to get worse. Still 2-2, a quarter of an hour to go at Jurong East, where the Jags holding the Stags. Lewis Jr. from the penalty spot getting the equaliser there. Here's the first touch for Adam Swandy. Adam Swandy over the top, trying to get it through to Gabriel Quack, not this time. Faris Ramley, oh, that's naughty. And
was Adam putting in a strong challenge coming in, announcing his arrival on the pitch there.
Nasrul is the man that's gone down. Another substitute in some discomfort.
Just took it away from Faris Ramley, and I'm leaving a leg in there.
Do you like politics, Rochelle?
Do I like politics?
Do you follow politics closely, global politics? You know when they were talking in the American election about Trump and about Biden, and they had to find a roadmap to success, to the White House.
Where are we going? Where are we going here?
I want to know, can you visualise a roadmap to a Hougang equaliser here?
Tough to see now, but look, again, with the situation as it is, they're going to be the ones who are going to have to risk it a little bit more. And these are the opportunities that are going to come about from these. They'll push bodies further forward. We've already seen them make their move with Doi coming in.
Tomoyuki Doi latches in. Amaral got there first and then gathered by Hassan Sunny. But I think you're right. It's a good observation. He doesn't appear to be moving entirely freely, and he's trotting back very slowly. Meanwhile, up the other end, Stipe Plazibat, Anders Zaplin. Look at the run from Faris Ramley. Diego Lopez arrives as well. And now Gabriel Quack will pick up the loose ball. Swandy with Tomoyuki Doi on, and probably not that mobile in terms of tracking back. They are going to be pushed, to Kyra Nizam's credit, and indeed the man that Tomoyuki Doi replaced. They were players that were all working hard up and down the park. I don't think Tomoyuki Doi's got the fitness levels to do that at the moment, but they cough up possession, and as the young Lions know all about, you give Tomoyuki Doi one chance, whether it's in the first minute or the last minute of injury time, he'll get you a point from nowhere. As I'm pleased to report that Song Yong is walking past us in front of the stands and doesn't look in too much discomfort. Hopefully nothing too serious there.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope we won't be denied the opportunity to see Song Yong in future matches. Just walking off with a little bit of a limp.
I'm hearing as well that there is the real possibility of Song Yong finally becoming a naturalised Singaporean. Are you hearing that as well? You're nodding along?
Yep. Well, Adam Swandy taken out. I think it'd be a great move for him, getting the quality and potentially a call-up to the Singapore national side. I mean, he's been here since he was, I remember playing with him, he was my teammate when we were at Home United, 18 years of age. incredible young talent, and he just developed and grown his game. He's developed in Singapore, so I don't see an issue with him playing for the country.
If he gets naturalised, he's got to play for the national team. Yep. He's not becoming Singaporean because of the excellent transport system and road links, is he? Got to get him in that national team as we look towards the next Suzuki Cup and beyond with Bring Back the Roar and Project 2034. Gabriel Quack Lopez gets it back to Gabriel Quack. Plasm out there as well. Lopez with his head, Faris Ramli scuffs it into the turf and Ridwan manages to gather.
Listen, game's still in the balancer. You asked me about the roadmap for Hougang, and we're starting to see them now push bodies further forward. Look, Sharili Shak's there, Tomoyuki Doi up front with Khairul Nizam. Farhan Zulkifli's got a change in position. He's pushed up out to the right-hand side, further forward. And they're still in it, 1-0. Even with the chances that Lion City Sailors have created, they just scored one spectacular goal from Diego Lopez.
Yamazaki, his pass has been picked by Anik Roshan. Let's give a shout out to 18-year-old Anik Roshan, still on the pitch. Looks like he's going to go close to doing the 90 minutes here, just a week after his debut in a 4-1 win against Balestier. Glenn Ong himself had a productive first 45, maybe unlucky to be hooked for Solo-Yong. Yeah, that's testament to Anik Roshan. They had a little exploitation of him in a 5-minute spell early in the first half, but other than that, he's not really been
He's looked pretty steady, yeah. He looked pretty steady down that side of the pitch. And he's spoken about getting, good communication from his centre back, Sadly playing on that side as well. Always talking to him as ball just slips out of Nakyudin's hands on that throw-in. But we've got two really talented young players now here on this pitch. And Farhan, we almost take for granted that he's still a very young player, Farhan Zulkifli. I think he's 18 as well, if I'm not mistaken. And he's been, sorry Patrick, he's been a regular for Hougang.
Well, I mean, the trouble is, it's a good point you make. I mean, obviously we're talking about Glenn and Anik because obviously they're 18 and that, with the exception of the odd exceptional player like Kyrie Nadim. Oh, that's a great ball through, but he's offside.
Yep.
But there's so many of these under-23 players now that you just take for granted as established Singapore Premier League star. And not players, stars.
Yeah.
We talk about Saifullah, and you're quite right to bring some of those other names in the mix as well. And Farhan Zulkifli may be lucky to be on the pitch, but it's his stature as well that almost gives him that cherubic appearance. Here's Plazibat over the top, Faris Ramli prevented by getting there by Lionel Tan as Yamazaki wins it back off Stipe, and here's Farhan Zulkifli getting into the back of Naikudin, but the throw will go to the Sailors. And now, of course, the clock is an enemy of the Cheetahs as well. Roshan right, just under 8 minutes to play.
He's just Stipe, I think, just ignoring the shouts of Shadan for a little bit there. So he links up really nicely. Faris, nice touch.
Oh, nearly gets it through to Stipe. Lionel Tan.
A couple of really important
and I don't think he knew much about it.
interjections there by Lionel. Almost in behind, plenty of space for Lion City Sailors to work with now in behind that Hougang defense. As I mentioned, again, they're the ones that are going to have to take the risk, push further forward. It's Lion City Sailors looking to just try and make one of these counter-attacks work for them.
And Tomoyuki Doi has not shown much movement in front of him, but he's answered Clement Teo's call. And you remember, last week, he scored a very, very late goal against the Young Lions, but now they've got serious defending to do. Faris Ramli's running at a tiring defence. Look at the tracking back done by Nazrul there. That was exceptional.
It's a great example of that recovery pace and the pace, the acceleration that Nazrul has. It's allowed Hougang to get themselves into an attacking position here.
This is promising. Sharil Ishak, first time cross. They might still be able to keep this in. Now, where's Tomoyuki Doi? They need to crawl it back to him, and they can't get it back. And even then, Tomoyuki Doi showed signs that he didn't even have the petrol to get in and around the penalty area. But again, Lions, even that goal against the Young Lions, he's still capable of popping up at any moment. 11 goals through 7 games is astonishing.
Well, he's spoken about, making sure that he's trying to limit his movements in the sense that making sure he's in the penalty area when the opportunities arrive. And he's said that he's developed that side of his game.
Plazibat, Lopez showing pace, but he won't get there in front of Maxat, who showed good anticipation because Lopez was continuing his run. Now, Sharil Ishak has his pocket pinched, Gabriel Quack. But they're starting to drop deeper, the Lion City Sailors, and that's testament to the respect they're showing Hougang. They're aware of Tomoyuki Doi's presence on the pitch, and it's having an impact. Still a chance to make it a breakaway goal for a second, but there's defending to do at the moment as it comes out to Nazrul. Can he hit one? Blocked by George Felipe. Only as far as Yamazaki, he can hit them too. Yamazaki! Hassan Sunny with a blinding save.
What a shot by Kaishu Yamazaki. Again, it's another shot from range for Hougang. Hassan just flying through the air to keep that one out. Have a look at this good goalkeeping. But you just need to get to the second balls a little bit quicker, Lion City Sailors, in these situations if Hougang are going to be working on these second balls. And that came about after a first header, initial clearing header by Georges Philippe. Then it was Faris who was caught napping a little bit. Nazrul from Hougang picking up the second ball, helping to create an opportunity for Kaishu Yamazaki.
Well, Midway now needs to get rid of this as quickly as possible. There's 5.5 minutes and counting. We will have a good 3 or 4 minutes minimum time added on because of the injury to Song Young and the assorted substitutions. And Georges Philippe just happy to belt that out for a throw with Tomoyuki Doi lurking.
Yeah.
Farhan Zulkifli. Will he take it quickly? No, he'll wait for the run of Nazrul. He's already looked a little bit lively. Nazrul into the area. Always the danger of the penalty shout, isn't there? That's what this game needs. But a bit more controversy. And this is a man that was involved in first half controversy. Farhan Zulkifli gets it to Nazrul. His first touch lets him down, but he gets it back to Farhan. The cross headed away by Georges Philippe. But Anders Appelin is there. They're starting to build up their strongest head of steam and momentum in the entire 90 minutes here, Hougang. And certainly that Yamazaki shot is as close as they've come in the game, really.
Bit of defending to do, and Maksat once again just there to clean things up for Hougang. Opportunity to carry the ball forward until that pressure arrives.
Nazrul, one handball against Naikudin. Referee was unsighted there. Clementio up in arms. There was a tug on the shirt of Diego Lopez, and then the referee has seen that one though, which is not going to please Clementio at all. And this will help them wind down another 60 seconds, Roshan.
Clementio's keeping his focus again. Great atmosphere here. The fans, Hougang fans, letting the referee know what they think of those decisions. I don't think it's a handball, to be fair to him. Referee's got that one right. It's actually come off the thigh and the chest of Nakyudin.
Well, Diego Lopez has already scored one sensational goal. He could be in again. Diego Lopez taps it to Plazibat! Maksat putting his body on the line once more. It's behind for a corner.
Another big block by Maksat Zakibaliev. He's been everywhere in defense for Hougang. Again, if you want to be hypercritical, you say perhaps should have closed down Diego Lopez for the shot, but I'm not going to be too critical of him in that situation because he's been outstanding in central defense for Hougang. Again, putting himself in front of that shot.
So, referee Mohammed just emphasising that he is going to be stopping the clock as the Lion City Sailors trot over to take that corner like they're running the Singapore Standard Chartered Marathon. And absolutely no rush at all to complete that run to take the corner. Faris Ramley over the top. Oh, Gabriel Quack's left that because he was offside. Faris Ramley, narrow angle. And it's wide of the mark. Last chance saloon for Hougang now, Roshan. Last chance saloon for Tampines as well. They're still being tied at 2 each, and they're into the final couple of minutes at Jurong East as well. Jags 2, Stags 2. Which, with that result going that way there, and this result going this way here, all of a sudden it's starting to look like Outbreaks and Lion City Sailors pulling away at the top. Early days though. Diego Lopez, Faris Ramley to his left. Faris Ramley, Stipe! Oh, and this time...
It's Lionel this time.
It's Lionel, Maksat's central defensive partner. They're going to feel this game in the morning. They've been working so hard.
Working the socks off in central defense, putting their bodies on the line, and at times as well, Maksat having to try and build attacks for Hougang from central defense. It's a nice idea by Faris to play an early first-time ball across on that run of Stipe Plazibat. And Lionel with a crucial header just deflecting it away.
Then again, well, referee Farhad's alive to this, so that would probably entail now at least 4 minutes of time added on. I'm being told from the floor manager only 3, and the old question is how they can tell you there's 3 minutes added time when there's still 2 minutes of the 90 to play. Always tends to bamboozle me. What do you thought of Faris Ramley since he's been on, Roshan?
Yeah, he's been lively, you know, it's certainly a change that has changed the match.
Oh, loose pass! And a chance for Gabriel
I'll tell you what I'd love to see, a stat for how many block shots we've had in this game.
Well, that would be at a season high, I'm certain. Gabriel Quack, it looks like they're going to come away with nothing here, Hougang, but there's, bearing in mind there, depleted ranks today. You can't help but think if Tomoyuki Doi was fully fit and Gilberto had been here like he was at Jalan Besar, would be a different game. And of course, the third meeting this season will be one to savour. They played them for a third time, I believe, at Jalan Besar.
You know, you really hope that we've got the players available, we've got the players fit for that, because you're right. I mean, Doi and Gilberto would be an interesting prospect for this Sailors defence to deal with as well. So but this was the... Sorry, Patrick.
Carry on, Roshan.
This was the opportunity that we're talking about in the build-up to the game. Coming up against a Hougang side, depleted, missing a few key players. These are the opportunities you need to take. You must win. If you're challenging for the title, you're looking for that trophy.
And that's a good point, because you go through their previous fixtures, the games that have been tight calls, Tampines, they didn't get the 3 points there. Albrecht, they didn't get the 3 points there. Obviously, Hougang didn't get the 3 points here. They've ground one out tonight. They've worked hard. There's not been any slacking from some of their superstars. Lopez coming up with a brilliant goal, and Nasrul's header with Lopez in attendance again. I mean, they've needed the moment of magic, but again, that's why you spend the big money.
Individual brilliance could potentially win the game for them here, but Aurelio Vidmar spoke about metrics in the build-up to this game, and yeah, I like looking at that, which is great to see your development as a team and your development as a club in the longer run as well. But the most important metrics are for them to secure the results and for them to pick up the wins.
Oh, Naikudin edge of the area. Going to take it back. There will only be 3 minutes of time added on. I think that's rather ungenerous to Hougang scores. Like, having said that, in the last 3 minutes, they haven't really looked like scoring. Diego Lopez, Stipe. Lopez continues his run. I tell you something, based on this Diego Lopez performance, I think he's found his full fitness and found his home here in Singapore now. He's certainly settled in. He looks like he could play another 90 minutes. It hasn't extended him at all, this.
Stay ball, stay ball.
Plazibat. Oh, still Plazibat. Ball's gone out of play. Assistant referee over on that far side spotted it, so potentially one more chance coming the way of the Cheetahs.
I think he just wanted, I think what Vidmar wanted there was for Plazibat just to hold it up in the corner, just to eat away a few seconds instead of trying to take on Nazrul.
Well, that's not Plazibat's style, really, is it? I think he always thinks he's insulting people if he does that. That's flicked on forward. Tomoyuki Doi, first touch he's had in a while. Doi, well, that's the second touch of a man that's just struggling with something in the lower half of his body, isn't it? Just an inaccurate stab with too much weight on it. I've said that now, we'll pop up and score a 30-yard screamer with the last kick of the game. He did score a very late goal, practically the last kick of the game with that equaliser against the Young Lions. As the Hougang fans will be the disappointed set by the end of tonight, by the look of things. But one victory for everyone, the football community and family in Singapore, is that we've welcomed back fans with no restrictions other than the capacity to the AIA Singapore Premier League tonight. And there's been 250 in here. At times, it's felt like 2,050, and it's wonderful. It feels like football is back.
It certainly does. And look, we've, again, just touch on how great it's been to get the fans back in here. We can't wait for the day when more are allowed to come in, because already with the 250 that we've got,
and the roof might
atmosphere has been brilliant.
And the roof might come off this place if Kaishu Yamazaki can deliver something into the area for a Hougang head. It's a good delivery. Edge of the area. It's come out to Farhan Zulkifli! And they wanted a fraction in a corner, and they'll get one. Edge of the seat stuff for the closing seconds, Roshan Rai.
The second balls. They need to make sure they pick up the second balls here, Lion City Sailors. That's what Hougang are looking to rely on. First one cleared. They're not able to pick up the second. It's Farhan Zulkifli with that shot, just taking a deflection of Adam Swandi.
Well,
Anik and
I don't know whether
Shariel, I think.
I don't know why you don't throw Ridwan forward here. They've thrown pretty much everyone bar Ridwan into the final third. Not the best delivery, but it misses everyone out. And now Diego Lopez is away at the races. And look at the run of Faris Ramley ahead of him.
That's well played by Diego Lopez. Really good experience there. And it was unlikely they would get the ball all the way out into Faris Ramley. He just had to carry it. And then Lionel in that situation panicked a little bit and conceded a free kick, which kills off the game now. That's good play by Diego Lopez.
Well, the referee, I think, wisely adding another 30 seconds on to the 3 minutes that was initially added onto the quota, primarily, I think, because of some of the delays in taking corners and free kicks. So there's going to be a yellow card for time wasting here. I think shown to George Felipe, was it? Did George Felipe get a yellow for time wasting there, Roshan?
I think so. Must have been him, right? Because he was stepping up to take the free kick there.
Not entirely clear. Lionel's hand gets it back to Ridwan. Are they going to have time for one last throw of the dice here? They're going to have to move quickly, and they won't move quickly enough. Referee Farhad Mohammed blows the full time. The Lion City Sailors take it by a goal to nil, proving they can grind out type victories, and it was a goal worthy of winning any match. Diego Lopez, with 21 minutes to go, with an absolute ripstore to him just inside the edge of the area after a throw from Faris Ramley, and Roshan, another one to the list of sensational goals we've seen in the AIA SPL this season.
Yeah, we've seen some fantastic goals in this competition. Again, $3 million man Diego Lopez coming up big with that finish, that moment of individual brilliance. Exactly why you pay that big money for opening the game up for the Lion City Sailors, eventually winning the game for them. They finally got that result that we're talking about against a side in the top four. And it's a deserved result. The performance that they've put in, the intensity that they've played at has been very good. It's just a little bit frustrating in terms of the finishing in certain situations. But they came up big with a goal there. Diego Lopez, wonderful moment of quality.
All the credit in the world to Hougang, by the way. They played their part in what was not the best game we've seen all season, but it was certainly engrossing. Everyone in the stadium, as the fans come back, certainly enjoyed it. And the stats, well, there's some change there to the stats we saw at half-time when the shot clock was level at 7 apiece, 20-10. And crucially, what the Sailors got going in the second half was shots on target finally, Roshan.
Yeah, and again, the quality of the openings, the quality of the opportunities in the second half from the Lion City Sailors. And again, for Hougang, it was 7 shots at the half-time break. They only added 3 more in the second half. It was 2 shots on target. They added 1 more shot on target in the second half as well. I don't think they really offered enough in this second half. This Hougang United side. It's a credit to Lion City Sailors. They deserve this result because I think they generally controlled the game very well. They limited Hougang United to shots from range. You know, we didn't see many clear-cut opportunities for Hougang United in this one, and it's a good performance, it's a good team performance. We often speak about individual mistakes happening with Lion City Sailors. We didn't see any of that in this game. We saw very good structure in the overall play. Closing ranks between the lines, very little space for them. Eventually, they had to see the result out last 5-10 minutes or so, and they did it comfortably.
Well, let's have a look back at the best of the action starting in the first half. Steve Plazamet, who by his standards was quite quiet tonight, getting it through to Gabriel Quack and then Diego Lopez, who hit 2 posts.
Yeah, this was a great chance for them again, and he should have finished it off. Look, Lion City Sailors, with the opportunities, the openings that they created, could have had more than the 1 goal, I think, tonight. It's a credit to Hougang, the defensive display that they put in terms of, you know, last-ditch challenges, putting their bodies on the line there.
You told us to keep an eye on side-footed tonight before the match, Roshan, and he had another great game. Hooked just before the end, but more by, I should think, exhaustion than anything else, and he came close a couple of times as well.
Yeah, I think he was lively again in this match. First half, I think first 20-25 minutes or so, was always a threat down the left-hand side, linking up with Nakiuddin, and then in the second half here, with that opportunity, decided there was nothing really going on in the box for a cross to come in, decides to take a few defenders on.
Now, they tweeted fee for the Lion City Sailors this week and told them to consider Gabriel Quack for the Puskas Award after that goal last week against Balestier. They might be tweeting FIFA again.
Yeah.
Diego Lopez's 4th goal in Singapore football, and that's his best goal in Singapore football so far.
Look, it's going to be a lot of tweeting going on by the Lion City Sailors social media team, and I'm definitely going to put that one up for consideration because that is a brilliant goal by Diego Lopez. And when you're getting frustrated in a situation where you're creating chances, where you're not being able to find a finishing touch, a player like that steps up and provides a wonderful moment of quality.
All these highlights we're seeing, Diego Lopez pivoted in almost all of it. Was he your man of the match?
Oh, it's a tough one because I think Maksat in Hougang's defense was excellent as well. But Diego Lopez, I mean, from a creative point of view, had a very good game for the Lion City Sailors in between the lines. Georges Philippe as well in the air. To put in a couple of strong headers towards the end there when Hougang were launching balls forward.
Yamazaki right at the death. Oh, it's a good save, Hassan Sunny. They had a couple of long-range efforts that were closer than they've been throughout the whole game right at the end.
Yeah, they were pretty much, again, as I said, limited to these strikes from range, which, again, in terms of shot quality standpoint, shot quality viewpoint, not the best. But, of course, you know, you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. Again, Faran Zulkifli from range there. Second ball, as it comes down to him. It was the second ball that Lion City Sailors, towards the end of the game, they were having a little bit of trouble with. But look, if you've got enough bodies in there to see this one out, then it's a result that, again, I have to reiterate, they absolutely deserve, because I like the complete team performance that they sort of put in. It'll be interesting to hear what the coaches have to say about that.
Yeah, and I also like the idea of you giving a losing team's player the man of the match award. I think that should be done. Right, the Lion City Sailors now top. Alberets can usurp them tomorrow, but a very happy man, I'm sure. Aurelio Vidmar is down pitchside live with Faranaya.
topic. Aurelio, it's another 3 points for you. A pretty cagey affair today, but a win for you in the end. How good was the performance from your side today?
I thought we were great tonight. It was a very tough win here. It's never easy, as we know, and I thought we dominated the game right from the very first minute right to the end. We had, I'm not even sure how many chances that we had, and also we had a lot of shots that were blocked by the goalkeeper or someone on the line, so it was clearly a dominant display, so really pleased with the 3 points.
Like you said, you dominated, but were you at any point concerned that you wouldn't find the breakthrough here tonight?
Yeah, it would look like it could have been one of those nights, but then step up Diego, and he scored what was a world-class goal. They're the sorts of things that he can do, and we were sitting directly behind it from the throw-in, and as soon as it bounced and he was about to hit it, we said goal, and we can just see it going in, so it was a wonderful goal.
Aurelio, thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
I'm definitely noticing a change in Aurelio Vidmar's emotions. I saw him a couple of times for the first time tonight really get into it on the bench. I think he's taken the view that the business end of the season is starting. They go top tonight. They might be second by the end of tomorrow with Albrechts in action. But I think business is picking up for the Lion City Sailors.
Listen, we speak about metrics, and they might be leading the league in certain metrics in terms of the chance creation, in terms of the possession, in terms of things like that. But he will know, and he's touched on it as well, you have to, along with those metrics, you have to win matches, and that's what they did today. They were able to see this one out. They dominated the game, and it's great to see him agreeing with what we've said. I said that Lion City Sailors dominated, deserved this game, didn't give Hougang a sniff in this one. It was just about making sure they could put the finishing touch in to make sure that they could pick up the 3 points, and that was good. It's so important for them in terms of their title charge.
The way the game played out after the goal, though, and I know it's apples and oranges comparing them, it was the kind of game that was going to take one moment of brilliance. They weren't knocking down the door, were they?
I think they were the opportunities that they created, the openings that they created were actually very good. What was happening was a lack of finishing touch. We saw in some of the highlights there as well, the ball coming off the back of the post. It took a moment of brilliance. It certainly did from Lopez to sort of win the game for them. But generally, I think when you dominate games as you have, in terms of the chances that you create, it's a deserved win for Sailors.
Yeah, disappointing for Hougang. The first home loss of the season. They'll be nervously wondering what the score is from Jurong East. We'll tell you about that in a minute. But before, while we wait for the final whistle to go at Jurong East, let's go live back pitchside. Farah is now with Clement Teo, the head coach of Hougang.
Clement, a disappointing result for you here tonight. What did you make of your side's performance here today?
I mean, what more can I ask for? I mean, we in all honesty, we are not in full strength, but that's not an excuse for the loss. But you could see that the boys were battling. It's just a lapse of concentration. It's one of those things in the game, So, yeah, we lost. In fact, we lost to a better team. No doubt about it. Yes, we were struggling, but phases of the game, we were in there. We were basically giving them a little trouble here and there. So I would not say I'm fortunate, but I think a fair result would be a draw.
I'm sure you would have wanted a win today here, but how good is it to have the fans back tonight?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, the guys, the boys were enjoying it themselves, saying that it's been a long time, and they were clapping all along and cheering. It's really nice.
Clement, thank you.
Welcome.
Well, Clement Teo, we knew that he'd bring up the lack of concentration, which is frustrating because they defended so well, just that one lapse had cost them. But I think he spoke eloquently enough. You're never going to expect him to be happy with the result.
Listen, with players that were missing, it was always going to be difficult for them in certain situations. I thought they battled well at times to try and put their bodies on the line. And so I say Maksar was outstanding for them, alongside Lionel as well, putting in a couple of important challenges. But they really struggle in an attacking sense to create opportunities to really trouble the Lion City Sailors.
Well, some good news for Hougang is the scoreline at Jurong East. It's actually going to be good news for the Lion City Sailors as well, because what about this for Tanjung Pagar United? Only a couple of weeks after their first win in over 2,360 days, they've held the mighty Stags. Tampines Rovers 2-2, Tanjung Pagar United. They led early through Ria Nishiguchi, Tanjung Pagar United. Then goals from Armin and Daniel Bennett right on half-time gave Tampines the lead, but Lewis Jr. from the penalty spot made it 2 each. And what that does is it means that Tampines can't overtake Hougang. So despite losing, Hougang stay third. The big story, the Sailors going on top of Albrechts, but Albrechts can go back to the top if they get a point tomorrow, and they'll be favourites to maybe even get more than a point. Also tomorrow in action, the bottom two, the battle of the bottom two, Geylang and the Young Lions. So tomorrow, it's Balestier Khalsa Albrecht Negata at Topayo Stadium, Young Lions at Geylang International at Jalan Besar. Now, I'm going to beg you all, not going to beg you, I'm going to tell you to come and get down to your local Singapore Premier League ground. You'll have to queue up early because all the tickets were sold out within a matter of minutes here. If you come down and pay for a ticket, $8, $5 for concessions, and you get in the ground and you don't like it, find me. I'm in the stadium. Bring me a ticket hub and I'll give you the $8 back, because this was a special night. Even without loads of goals, I think the fans here have all gone home very happy. Yeah,
I think so. You know, again, as Clementino said, and as we've said in our coverage of this, how good it is to have the fans coming back. And it'll be boosted by that. The performance here has been absolutely outstanding. Getting, say, Diego Lopez score a stunning goal as well will help.
Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow. And get behind the AIA Singapore Premier League. From Roshan and myself, good night.